Caution, you're about to enter a green tip zone. We so M here is about to explode or something. After you
No,
eat the
that was
taco.
sorry. Yeah, I had to stop at 5 tacos, so we're okay.
So we're going to talk about the thing that they just published in January. I was watching the NRA Cam company show, and they had the reporter on, and basically what happened is they published the new ATF rules and regs in September. That they wrote them, and they took out the M85 exemption in September, but they didn't publish the report until after the election. They published the report in January, and we put a link. Maybe somebody in the did we link that somewhere? The actual ATF reg
I
report.
saw that the link was in the original. Let me see if it's still in the lobby chat. Let me go way back and see if it's still in there.
Yeah, I think I posted it in the lobby
It's
chat.
it's not in this one. Let me. I don't know. See, this is the
Well, they,
computer part.
let's find it real quick.
I think I might have it under the reloading chat. So let me go into reload here if I can. Oh, actually, I can't. That's the chat that I read it in. Oh no, I wasn't in that. Hmm.
Here it is.
It's under the truth about guns, right? Ms. Caddy Pop
My,
Povlich.
I'm loading it.
Because it was in a couple places. I looked at it in a second place.
ATF Federal Firearms Regulations Reference Guide 2014, revised September 2014, and it's 237 pages. And apparently there's the exemption for M85 is gone, but they didn't publish it until January. So I have the site. I'll put it in the internal, and then we'll figure out how to put it in lobby, and if somebody hasn't already posted. Copy.
So this is something they publish or they rewrite every 10 years. Is that what we understand?
I thought they're supposed to be every 10 years, but it looked to me like the last time they did it was 2005, but I need to check that exact date.
Which would well then it would be then that would be exactly 10 years because well in her the original they kept
that's right, it's 2015, isn't it?
Yeah, yes. And in two of the articles at the bottom it says we apologize. We wrote 2014 3 times and it should have said 2015. So, because I saw that article twice, the second article had more in it, but they mistakenly said 2014.
Well, because that's when it was published. In September 2014.
Right.
They just didn't print it. They wrote it.
It's kind of it's kind of like the reverse of a car thing. Like in August of this year, you can buy a 2016 car, even though it's still the year 2015.
They made the mistake of being honest and put the date that they actually wrote it. It's what they did, and then they published their.
Well, this is the thing.
By accident.
Yeah. In my eyes, they could have published it today, and it still would have been screwed up.
Okay, now that we're on today, let's go to the Obama's all-black town hall. The only white person there was this one, Secret Service guy. Everybody else was black. So he didn't want to get asked any tough questions. So the last question of his town hall was about guns, and Obama said that one, in some parts of the country, it's harder to buy a vegetable than it is to buy a handgun. And
it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, so I was putting in the lobby chat. I was going to go buy a vegetable today and go down to the police station and try and register because they said there was a 2-week waiting period. The vegetable goes bad in 2 weeks, man. And then he said after that, there's some towns pass like laws that say it's legal to have machine guns in bars.
And it's at this point, I don't really. He's with the kind of shit that comes out of his mouth. Thank God. I don't know. It just kind of goes over my head. Like, oh yeah, what else is new?
He also did the handguns, and it's easier. Actually, what he said was it's easier to buy vegetable and handguns and clips. You know, so he didn't use the magazine thing again. So we're back on that
ignorance
thing with magazines and clips. You know, but
it's just annoying because it's like they take such pride in trying to regulate this thing, and they can't even get the nomenclature right.
And so people are wondering now, okay, if you bought one and like I'm wondering, okay, I made a few videos about green tips, you know, and here's my stash, and so now is it all illegal all of a sudden? And it was the guy who sold it to me illegal because he just didn't read the regs because they hadn't been published yet, or you know, or he didn't know about them, and
well, but okay, so what you're saying is because now this report is out, and this is an official report, if that's what you're using to go by your guidelines, according to this report, it's already illegal to sell it.
Yeah, and
okay,
they made the report illegal before they had and then they had the public comment period after they already outlawed it, which is backwards.
And like I said, even if that report came out today, it would still be wrong because it's not even at the end of the period yet.
Yeah, they had the time for public comments. They opened it.
You know, you always see the friggin' making stupid mistakes like this. Like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and then they end up putting something out like this. It's like, oh, they thought about doing this 6 months ago, and they've already decided.
I have to put this link in the lobby chat. I put it in an internal.
Yep. I went to Cabela's yesterday, and they probably had 2,000 rounds of the PMC X-Tac green tip. It's about the only ammo they had. It was amazing. It was kind of just ironic to see that. Oh, I can't buy any cheap Tula, but
yeah,
I can buy as much green tips as I want today.
Yeah, gee whiz, but I bought it from an FFL, and he didn't know, you know. And he said he you know, and then he pulled. I left 6 boxes for the next guy, 6 20-round box for the next guy at the store, but he pulled it for himself as he goes hunting. He hunts big on his property, you know. So, and he, you know, he wanted the 855 so you can do headshots on the pig and not mess up the meat, you know, and not have to shoot it through the vitals, and you know, and get bile all over the meat and be contaminated. So, and he has big property, so.
So according to that report, the Cabela's I went to yesterday is in violation of ATF law. Well,
No, okay, now Smeggy just posted they will not make a decision until after they hear from everyone. No, they already made the decision. It's already in, read that document. The exemption's gone. They already published the regs.
In their paperwork, it already is there. It's already law to them, or it's already, is what that's saying.
Yeah, they're just not enforcing it yet because they haven't, you know, they didn't want anybody to know that they already made the ruling before they already pulled it before they. Well, the ATF isn't going to say shit. They're just going to say it's illegal. Turn it all. It could, for all we know, they could say it's a confiscatory ban. You know.
Well, Moon saying the article just came out today, but the report came out 2 months ago, and was published in September.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter when the report. Like I said, this could have been published today. They could have come out with the booklet today, and it still would be wrong, because they're not at the end of the wait period, even this initial 30 days.
We have to go through a waiting period, but they don't.
Yeah, it's just another one of their stupid blunders. That's like, oh, well, whatever, and no one's gonna. You know what? It pisses me off that shit like that can happen. But no one's gonna call them on it. It'll just be brushed off.
That's why I'm just wondering, you know, if somebody's gonna come knock on my door and want all my green tips.
Yeah, that ain't happening. They're going over to Moon's house though. He keeps putting those 9s in it.
All right, so I'm running out of green tip videos to make. I made a margarita green tip video.
I saw that.
And I made the Viva green tips video, and I made the emergency ammo run green tip video, the original ban announcement on the 16th of last month. And Yeah, we can't hear the. Well, Megan, why don't you join up? We have the link in the chat if anybody wants to join our chat. And yeah, anybody can come on. If you scroll up, or maybe G would put how to log into it. You can watch it. You can log in and talk to us, or tell everybody this rant.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
No, like I said, I kind of at this point. I mean, we got about what? We got just a little bit over a week to wait. I mean, I kind of feel like I've done what I can. Maybe I'll do another email or something this week, but I don't know.
Now I noticed the M855 site. I'll check it one more time, but that site hasn't been updated since the 3rd. And I mean, it's only the 6th. That's not that many days. It's just because we're right up against it as far as like getting 100,000 signatures. It doesn't look like we're going to make it. We're over 80,000, but we only got like 10 days. So
I was surprised that stalled out around that number. And someone had said it was over that last week. I know for sure in one of these chats. So I was like, oh, well, at least we got that going for us, whether it did anything or not. But then I checked it out, and last night it was at 79. You say it's over 80. So yeah, it needs a boost. It needs a little kick in the ass. Just even though whether it does anything or not, it's documented that 100,000 people thought it was important enough to send that, go to their email, send the reapply to it, so it was confirmed.
And yeah, that would just make the case even more that they didn't listen to the public before they published wrote the regs in September 2014, and then they printed it in January, and then in February 15th or 16th they opened up the public comments, which is ass backwards.
Right, and it's like how can but that again, it's a good thing that it shows down the line in case it has to be used. Look, you came out with this. What if 8 million people all of a sudden signed this petition? You obviously would have had to have addressed it. So at least it goes. It can help us if we have to look back at this somehow for something.
Well, if the NRA sues somebody, or Second Amendment Foundation or somebody.
It seems like that. I mean, I certainly, based on the amount of attention it seems to be getting, if for some reason, if it does go into effect, then I got to imagine that someone will. I mean, it seems that way.
Yeah, I also saw one of the senators, obviously, he introduced, reintroduced legislation to, defund, your Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, but I don't think that's going to go anywhere. But he introduced it again, and in the letter from the Congress to the director, I guess it must be the acting director. We don't have, since the last guy resigned, they didn't approve anybody new since Todd resigned. Did we? Did they?
I thought within the last 6 to 8 months they had appointed someone to be the head. I don't know if they've gotten congressional approval or not or something. I'm not sure how that works, or it was a woman, I believe, that got elected, I thought. But they were like 6 years without a head or chief.
Well, they were like 6 years without a head, and they appointed some guy named Todd, and now after he resigned over that whole Fast and Furious thing. And does anybody know who is there an acting director, or are they just like taking their orders from Obama or something, or Eric Holder?
Yeah, someone needs to look into that here.
Stalled DB's anti-petition campaign. Who the hell is DB?
Yeah, DB Cooper. Yeah, he's our local defeatist. Yeah, he's a little depressing sometimes to listen to. Like, it's it. Call it done. It's gone. It's all over.
Hashtag no new ATF director. Yeah, well, I don't think they're going to send the ATF director to Congress for. I mean, Congress might like to have him so they could like roast him on a spit, but they're never going to.
Well, there's some going back to that congressional crap, whatever. There's some issues with like all of a sudden like disbanding the ATF or something like because the state laws have things written in them that are based on ATF approval. And if there is no ATF, then all the states' constitutions would have to be rewritten. So again, it is kind of a sticky situation with when people go broad stroking it out. Like just that rule that says that the ATF cannot approve or disapprove of any more ammo. There are states that are allowing ammo to be sold now based on ATF approval, and then that would go against their state
Well, that would make their
deal.
constitution and that particular clause just invalid.
Right. Which I see, and I think that should not be an issue, but of course, apparently it's a big deal, or at least it's enough of a deal to have to talk about it. Again, I'm not very politically savvy when it comes to all that. Who does this, does that? I don't get all caught up in well, who holds who accountable, and who's voting for what.
Yeah, so I was going to go really quick and check that 855 page really quick. Save 855 because last time I checked they hadn't updated it. I mean the numbers of the total signatures. I didn't actually use that site myself, but I did post. It says 31,139 people. But the last update was on the 3rd, and
Right.
so yeah, I use that NRAILA to contact my congressman directly,
Yep.
even though they're all anti-gun. Yeah, I know it's like pointless, but I wrote my own letter pretty much. I used some parts from other. I have my own letter on my videos, and I just modified it with some stuff, and that was Hawaii specific, so they could tell I was actually, I have Hawaii active Hawaii hunting, like stuff like that.
Yeah, I contacted mine on Facebook too, and I did it kind of right away. I did it a few weeks ago, so hopefully it was something that at least got to someone, so they read about it.
I hope the U.S. senator that I wrote to doesn't see my video that I did during the election that says he doesn't have any token. He was afraid to debate. He didn't even debate his Republican opponent because he didn't have to.
Mm.
He refused. He just went in hiding after he won the Democratic primary, and nobody really. There's 3 times more registered Democrats than Republicans, and the Republican, even though he's run before, doesn't have any name recognition because nobody ever supports him. And he only lost by 100,000 votes. If anybody would have thrown him a few $1 million, you'd have a Republican senator instead of Hawaii. But
Yeah, that's pretty wild, huh? You think actually, based on that, you'd think someone would actually step up, but if it's that heavily Democratic there,
well, they wrote off Hawaii. I mean, 100,000 votes is nothing to get.
exactly.
It's nothing. It's easy, even in Hawaii. But nobody. He didn't have millions of dollars to spend. I mean, maybe he spent what he had, but it was nothing compared to shots all day, all the time. And with his commercials, but he was like literally hiding out. So yeah, I have to write him and the other 2 guys. Just got an automated, reply. But the NRAILA has a way to contact, write a letter to your congressman. You have to fill out, your name and address and all the information that Congress requires because it goes through the congressional switchboard or whatever. And so I use that to contact, and then, you just type in your zip code and then your other information, and that is required, the Congress requires to take your letter or whatever, and then they send it to all my reps in Congress. But I don't expect them to do anything about it. I have so many damn pages left. Post the link in chat again. Which link, G-Web, did you want? Which link? We have the link for this one. Okay, we have 2 links there. Tactical something. We have the ATF library publication from September, the new rule regs, and we have the Google hangout chat if you want to join in. Posted in the gun website's lobby chat. And so the other thing we need is Dick's got it, and we need to post the live YouTube channel chat again, maybe. So I can dig that up real quick.
I had just closed that just because my laptop's a little slow, so I can't have too many things running in there.
Yeah, let's see. And okay, I just posted the live YouTube channel in there. So, should I screen share? Well, everybody on that chat can see the. The gun.
Well, you can screen share it if you want. That way you can. I don't know. Some people are lazy. You know.
Well, it's 237 pages. You know.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, let's not screen share that.
Yeah.
But basically, it's just missing the exemption. So.
And that's everything. That's the book on everything, right?
Yeah, it has. That's all the firearm rights. You know.
That's got everything in it.
Definitions. You know, defines
922R, everything, every ATF thing there is.
Definition of terms. You know, and then it moves on to every right. So.
Yeah.
So I mean, here in Hawaii, I mean, I didn't even compared to like the mainland. People can like run to Walmart and buy. Here, there's like one store I bought like. I had like I had 3 boxes, 20 round boxes. I bought 2 120 round boxes and a stack of 6 52 grain EMTL ATACs or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's yeah. So I mean that's enough, you know. I mean I don't, other than shooting hogs, you know, and I don't think I really need it for anything. But you know you know.
I don't. The round, to me personally, I never thought highly enough of it to stock more than, I think I have 300 rounds of it, and that's it.
Yeah, I was planning on getting the which is
I already had it. So.
I was planning on getting the 77 grain IMI one that is better matches the 1 in 7 twist in my Tavor, you know. But the good thing about this divorce, if they go hog wild and somehow before Obama leaves manage to ban all 5.56 ammo completely and then I could always switch it to 9mm, you know, 9mm kit.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I just have an AK.
There's a lot of people out there that think that they're banning all of it now, which is kind of frustrating. My friend in Portland yesterday goes, they're banning all AR ammo? I'm like, no.
If they could, they would. If they could, they would.
But they're not. And again, if they would be so bold as to try that right now, screw that. But that's why they're doing it the way they are. So
who's going to stop them?
Yeah, well, that's too big of a mouthful to stop them all at once. Believe me. That's why the handguns are not listed now as NFA items, because they tried that. They wanted all handguns to be on the original NFA deal too, but they wouldn't. It was like, that's not going to fly. So you can't be so blatant as to say we're taking away all 5.56. That would be, even Democrats would be like, okay, that's a little bit much to. We got to give them some. And then at the end of the day, still allow armor piercing 30-06.
Yeah, Latula.
Makes no sense.
50, and you know, 50 BMG. You know, I know guys. I mean, I was at the range that people can have 50 BMGs in Hawaii, and I think one reason they don't ban it is that one reason is that I think Barrett said they won't sell their weapons to any state that bans 50 caliber. So. You know, we have some military bases here, and they need to be able to send stuff here. You know, I mean, they needed a patrol because this is the center, you know, for Pearl Harbor and the military base here for the entire Pacific region. And you know, Obama's trying to shift strategically, so they need to be able to send 50 calibers, you know, out here. But personally, I'd rather have a Lakula.
And that, The original exemption too, from what I understand, was more manufacturer driven than anything, as opposed to there being opposition back then, 30 years ago, whenever. Because there were people were starting were asking like why is that exemption there anyway? And I believe it was so was it
They could
Arms
sell off.
Corps?
They
Yeah, so
could
they could
sell
they could
off.
because they needed the
off
military to be able to
defective.
get the ammo, right?
No, they need to be able to sell off the defective rounds because usually, what they sell, is like there was something wasn't quite perfect, or
It's
and all those rounds get sold to the public, and the
right.
military gets
Since it's a
sold to the public.
commonly used round in the military, then they had to be able to have a way to unload it because that's big business.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
now there's military has like what is it now? Yeah, M85, A1 or
It's
A
got the 80. It's 856, I believe, A1 or something weird.
856.
I think it's the
850.
M856 A1. It's like an Abrams tank. Yeah.
That's like from Spinal Tap that goes from 1 to 11.
Yeah. It's pretty gnarly looking. It definitely, if you've seen the round, that certainly has a tip to it as well.
We
I
need to
don't know
get
if it's
somebody to
steel.
radio scope that stuff.
Yeah, it's really funky looking. I mean, it looks like it's like a soft point, but instead it looks like a steel tip, literally above the copper. If you've seen it.
Steel tip above the copper.
Yeah,
The soft point?
it looks like a soft point, but make that soft point not lead but steel, and that's what I remember it looking like. Here, let me.
Okay.
I'm gonna look it up here.
Can you screen share something?
Yeah, hold on. I got an eBay thing I'm watching. That I'm I'm selling
eBay.
something.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
it's sold. All right, it's done. All right, cool beans. Just selling my toys off, literally, from when I was a kid. Pay for guns. Oh, there it is. All right, let me look this up.
I shared the radio scope on the reloading chat last night of the SS109 CQY and the M855 and 193 F55 grain. So we already talked about that there. So if you want to check that out later,
Here we go.
it's like an X-ray of the round.
Here you go. This is check this out, and you'll see. I described it as I think it is. Pardon the links forever long, but
Oh, that is a 10 million long. Can you just screen share it?
yeah. Just click on it. It's fine.
Just,
Yeah, I'll
give
try
me
it.
screen
Hold on.
share.
Screen share is always wasn't my friend. All right, let me try this. I always screw this up somehow.
All right. Well, geez, I see a ton of ammo.
All right, I got it.
M85, M855 A1 enhanced performance round, and it's environmentally friendly projectile.
So yeah, see, it's 850. Yeah, it's M855A1.
Yeah, well, it's not green. So has this been officially finalized completely, or they're?
Oh, this happened years ago, I believe. So it's
I heard
definitely.
they were still working on it, and they hadn't got it quite right, or maybe that's the A2 or something. I don't know.
Well, why do you think that the market's been flooded? Already? Well, they already know that they wanted to get away from the 55 grain anyway, and that's another reason why this penetrator stuff is kind of an issue because they were kind of needing to dump it somewhere because they didn't want to use it anymore. They kind of have a here. I was going to say I don't know if this looks anything. That's not that radiological thing. So
Well,
see, it's interesting. So it's not a separate tip. How you see it on the right, how it's kind of shaped like that. It's kind of interesting. So it's only partially copper jacketed. I would imagine to promote tumbling and expansion.
yeah. So yeah, thanks for screen sharing it.
Interesting.
So I have to hit the present to everyone and click on your thing here to make it. I'm gonna hit stop. I'm gonna screen share. The one on the top there, yeah, that one on the
This
and
one or this?
no, the one up and to the right.
This. This.
Yeah, the M8. It actually says M86. Oh, that's a tracer.
No, that's the tracer.
856
That's right. That's what I was thinking. The
tracer.
Tracer is M856.
All
I
right.
actually bought some of those the other day. Those are fun. I need more of those actually. They're usually like $12 a box, so I'm like, I don't really need them, but they're not a bad round to have around because it's a
Okay,
62 grain bullet.
so it says here M855A1 steel penetrator tin bismuth core. Whatever the hell that is. Some kind of metal. But it also says M855A1 steel penetrator copper core. So the one in the big picture looks like steel and copper. And I clicked to the right on that page there. I'm going to post this in the chat so everybody else can look at it. But it's a hell of a long link.
I put that link in the external already, actually.
Oh.
For the
But I won't post it again because
for the image I put it out there already.
Yeah. Type characteristics. I think all kinds of weird military rounds. Rifle grenade round, and it's not that one that I was doing. Related images. There's plenty of ammo porn pictures of this stuff.
Yeah.
In there.
Oh, sorry, I was over there showing whatever else stuff. See, I get all messed up with the screen sharing.
Yeah, I don't know if I could find my way back to the chat.
You start looking at other things, and you start like, oh crap, everybody's watching me browse the web.
Yeah, get your eBay account number if you're not careful.
It's all good, yeah. Well, I just made $26, so that's going towards the new build. So
That should take me forever to save up for Lapua. Figuring out middle of next year maybe. Lapua scopes and things like that. Either buy a Lapua and all that stuff or a new house, one of the other.
Well, again, what do you? You're just buying it because you like the idea of it. Obviously, you want to invest in that.
Well, I'm part of it.
System, right?
Well, yeah, I'd like to get more into long range shooting, but it kind of depends if they open up the range or not. Up here they have a proposed range for long range shooting, for any shooting, since we actually don't have one at all.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Well, even though I live in New Hampshire, I'm very limited in going somewhere that I can shoot over about 125 yards is a challenge, and I'll tell you, it's severely handicapped me being able to even practice anything long range. So, for me, again, it would be a deal breaker because it's like I got nowhere to shoot it unless I found a place and and that was close enough.
I'm actually thinking about buying some land, just so I can do it.
Yeah, that's certainly one way to fix that problem. But like you're saying last night, and I'm with those guys, I'm with you, and I think you said it. Listening to them, the last thing I want to do is start reloading, But was that you that said that?
Yeah.
But with Lapua, obviously, you want to reload it for a few reasons. The cost being one, and number two, you want to dial that baby in, and that's part of the system. I could see getting a single stage for that.
That's what I would do, yeah.
But that's it. I'm with you.
I don't want to reload a 9mm, and it's cheap enough to buy,
look at what it did to Chris. It turned Chris into a monster, man. He was, he hasn't stopped going since he found out about reloading and doing it. And he's buying guns just so he can reload for them.
Yeah, it's like I local whorehouse and couldn't find the door.
I have an addictive thing like that too. It's like I get into something, I don't go half-assed. I start pushing all the money I have towards it, and it's like, and the money starts coming off other things that it shouldn't. So that, and again, I just don't shoot anywhere nearly enough to justify reloading. So for me, it's not even an option. I have one close now, but we'll see this year. I still don't think it's going to be that. I mean, I shoot $5 for 20 round, Tula ammo and $10 for 50 round 9. I mean, I'd have to be going through a serious amount to even think about it. And I have no interest. And I keep the brass and sell it anyway. And then you just make the money that way, and that pays for new ammo.
Yeah, I'm like saving my brass. It might be worth something someday, but
Oh, I sell it, man. You can ship it all to Atlantic Ammo and Fire. Atlantic.
Not from Hawaii. Not from Hawaii.
You couldn't put it in a flat rate box?
Uh,
Then sending it back to you is the problem.
yeah.
Because I mean, I send it down in a $10 flat rate box. I could put 40 pounds in there.
Yeah, flat rate boxes here.
Yeah, and you get $3 or more a pound. So if you send 40 pounds, you get $120 in credit on anything they got. So then I order 400 rounds of 9mm and 223, and it basically was free. So that negates.
They can't ship ammo back.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, but you could also But I mean, if you just put an ad on, I put an ad up on Craigslist, and people call me all the time. Yeah, I'll buy your brass. So it's not a
back to the van, dude. Back to the van. We got to stay.
Well, I'm focused, but I don't know where to go on it other than like I said, I've done my part. I have a good feeling about it. I think there's a lot of people talking about it, and there's a lot of people in Congress are talking about it, and I'm surprised at that it's happening, and I think it's a good thing. So I think it has it's at least it's 50-50. I'm not like friggin' DB or anybody. I don't think it's a forsaken thing at all. That's the thing. And let's see what happens. And that's all we can do is see what happens. Other than, do what we're doing, but...
Well, they're going to do what they're told to do by Obama, and they're going to, ban it, and then I think they're just, unless they realize they're going to get sued, and they did everything all backwards, and it's going to go to court, But,
well, they can do it, and then the Congress can say, look, we're going to start, but then you didn't... They could put a petition against it, and then there would have to be action.
They'd have to open a hearings on this, and they'd have to call the acting battery director in front to say we're not instead of if they don't want to, the acting director doesn't want to come, they don't want to have a confirmation hearing because they know they won't get approved, then they'll have to just call witnesses and
right.
File a lawsuit or something, with congressional lawyers or something, I'm sure the NRA will do something, I don't know what. This is like a whole new legal territory. I mean, I follow the Ninth Circuit Court stuff, and because that affects Hawaii and a bunch of other states, but California, Hawaii, and so I'm following all those Second Amendment Foundation most of the cases. But those move like slower than fungi growing in a microscope or anything. So this is different because it's just some whole new way to bypass everything and do what they want.
Well, it's kind of, if you think about it, it's a pretty major thing. It's kind of our generation's 1994 assault weapons ban, in a way. I mean, this is kind of I think it's a big deal. I'm not downplaying it at all. I think it's a pretty severe blow, obviously. And so you're right. For us, it is new because it's a different thing. And obviously, in 1994, if we had the ability to be on here doing this, you would sure as hell think there would have been a different outcome. I mean, it just ended 10 years ago. It's amazing actually that it's been 11 years now, but still, it was kind of a weird period if you think about it. Were you into guns during that whole thing?
No, I had a recording studio in Burbank, and I was into film. I started out into guitars, and I got into working on films, and then I was basically an audio whore.
There you go.
Anything anybody paid me, and then mostly it was foreign language stuff with films for film companies.
So right, yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, I was always into guitars and kind of into shooting. I wasn't obsessed with it. Not like I feel like I kind of am. Not obsessed now, but passionate. Let's put it that way. But I did it, and I was into it. And then at that point, I was only 20. I was 24 years old when I had already owned my first AR for a couple of years, and it was a pre-band. So I was one of those. Well, I got mine, and it's like, and again, and I didn't know it was happening until after it happened. I was only 24. I was partying down, and so I went like 10 years with like, yeah, I got my AR. I shoot it every now and then, and
When I was 18, I knew this
that's it.
guy, and I went to get haircuts, and he was like this haircut guy, and he's told me, he took me out shooting once, and he had a bunch of Mac 10s that were fully auto. I said, why don't you buy one of these? "Ah, I want to buy a guitar, dude.
Yeah, right. No, I'm with you, man.
200 of them for nothing almost, and because it was legal to back then, and whatever.
Oh, dude, my friend was. I mean, I'm not going to talk. I think I'm not going to say much about what he did, but he was. There was in the early '90s. There weren't restrictions out there like there is now about what you just getting stuff before the '94 assault weapons ban. There were definitely some. There actually were some loopholes. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I remember the
again, and
first
I couldn't
time.
think twice about them. I'm like, dude, what the fuck do I need that for? You know what I mean? Sorry, I mean, I was kind of like, I'm fine, and
I
didn't
mean, when
really.
I was in California, the first time I bought, like in 1911, it was just a 2 day waiting period. It's like come back in 2 days, and you filled out the form for the Justice Department, and that was it. And then I was really shocked the next time, like I came back like a year later or two, and just to buy a couple boxes of ammo, and they wanted to see my ID, and I was like, what? You need to see my ID for ammo? Like, really?
Yeah,
And at
that's
first he was like, "Yeah, we need to see your ID," and then he realized that I was still, how bullshit, what bullshit it was, and yeah, fuck, and I was like, that's like buying a box of Raisin Bran or something. Pretty much, at least it used to be, So, but now they don't even ask you in Hawaii. They don't ask you for your ID to buy ammo. I mean, if they know you just have to say you're over 18. That's all.
yeah,
And then they'd ask you if you look, too young or something, like selling cigarettes or something. But you know, anyway, so this whole
yeah.
ban
No, when
thing.
I was a kid, I was buying cigarettes from my father when I was like 15 years old. I mean, that wasn't a problem
For
for
your
him.
father, not from your
No, for
father.
him. Yeah, he was like, hey, go down the store and get me a pack of Doral 2 softback. Yeah, okay, whatever. I think,
And
yeah, man, that was in the 80s. What?
so I'm wondering what's going to happen on the 16th now. You know,
Yeah, again, I don't know.
so on the 16th they're going
I
to
don't.
issue a directive or something.
I don't think it's gonna happen that day.
Why not?
You know
What
what
are
I
they
mean?
waiting for? I mean, they
I
they
mean, I
already.
think it'll be like, okay, today's over, and so I think it'll be a few days after something will happen
I would like
because
to
of it.
see that. I would like to see, make sure, call somebody, Congress to have a hearing, and just ask them who read all the faxes. And somebody
Well, that's
actually
what they
read the
can say
faxes.
about it. That's what they have to have a reporting of this. They ask for the comments,
But they said they're
so
not going to be published, so they'll have to be subpoenaed.
and
And
that's
hopefully
fine.
that
That's
means
fine.
Congress is
But
going to have hearings, and
yeah. So how can you expect that on the evening of the 16th they're going to be able to come out and say, yeah, we read them all because they probably could have gotten 3,000 that day. So there's got to be some kind of a waiting period, whether they're reading them or not, just to put on a good face. They're going to have to. It's not going to happen right away. And if it goes longer than I'm thinking a week or two, then if nothing's happened, then someone might have to file or write a letter or to ask them to make them answer. But again, I don't know what happens. There's got to be. I'm sure there's a protocol
there's
for
no
this.
procedure. I doubt it. There can't be a protocol.
Well,
There's
first
no
of
way
all,
in this. They've never
and I'm
done
not
this
sure.
before.
I'm not sure if this is true or not. But they're supposed to give 60 days on anything like this, and since
But
they
this
gave 30, it's
is not a
already.
law. This is an interpretation. It's an administrative interpretation. It's not a law. it has the effective law, but it's
No, no. Well, this actually will create some. I mean, again, it's going to make it illegal to manufacture or sell.
well,
It definitely
they
is
remove
changing
the
law.
exemption. They remove the exemption, but they're ruling on how they're going to deal with it. It's not a law. That's
Right.
just how what they're going to do
Right.
administratively.
Well, and there is a procedure, and it's supposed to be 60 days, not 30. So they're already in a weird situation with this thing. And whether they thought they weren't going to get called out on it or not, I don't know. But from what I understand, again, that the way the policy is written, it's supposed to be 60 days, not 30. So they're already in violation of procedure with what they already did.
What procedure are you referring to? Because I'm not aware of that.
There are procedure. It's legislative procedure that
It's not
I don't know
legislation.
what I don't know what exactly, like, HR dash. I don't know that, but it's out there that there's procedure when interpretation of law is changing. The procedure is you need to give public notice, which they did, but that public notice period is 60 days, not 30.
They have a public comment period, but they can give public notice that the.
Well, that's what I mean. The public comment period is supposed to be 60 days for this kind of thing, and it's only and it's not. So that in itself makes this illegal, actually.
Well, I'm not enough of an expert on administrative law.
Well, here, I'll see if I can find this for you here, because I got it in here. I was just looking at it the other day. See if I can find it.
When you go and buy a gun and they start throwing all these bullshit things, you got to go looking at codes and crap, Does anybody have time to actually practice marksmanship? They've got to do all this shit. I mean, there's always some leftist gun group giving you, anytime you want to open a range, they give you a crap, Some leftist gun group organizes some local businesses and say, we don't want that kind of stuff. A gun range where they want to put it would bring in so many Japanese tourists who want to shoot guns it wouldn't even be fun. The locals wouldn't have any time. They'd have to set a locals only time because it would be flooded with. I mean, Hawaii's tourism is already up there. I mean, we had a range right by the resorts where they want to put it. Out of earshot, but close enough to it, and close enough to town, so you don't have to drive up all the way to a remote location on the mountain, the volcano.
All right, I'm getting close to it here. Hold on. I found two things on it. So
you've just tuned in. You're listening to Green Tip Zone, Green Tip Insanity, and you've just entered a Green Tip Zone. I'm gonna get my Green Tip Zone part back up. Where is? I got so many open windows.
Okay, that's not that.
I got too many. I got too many damn Green Tip bookmarks. I got to consolidate them.
Oh, hold on. Fucking banners. Sorry. All right, I'm gonna hold on here. I'm gonna mute myself for a second while I get the official dope here. Let me show you what I'll be.
All right. I'll just tap dance. Let's see. Put my new Green Tip Zone screen share up. Guess it took me like 2 minutes to create that triangle. All right, so you've entered a Green Tip Zone. And we're talking about green tips, and we're looking up right now the laws that say how much time, how much public comment time, and how much notification time they're supposed to, a government agency is supposed to give the public when they administratively change the law. And they took out the M855 exception when they rewrote the 2015 regs, which they do every 10 years. last time was 2005, but they rewrote it in September 2014. They just didn't print it until after the election, obviously, and not that it helped them, but in the election, because the Dems lost anyway, but might have lost bigger. They printed it in January, and so the regs scripting the A55 exemption is out. There's no exemption for it anymore, but they had the public comment period open in, I think, February 16th or 15th. And so if you want to sign the WhiteHouse.gov petition, I'm sure we have links on gun websites for that. You can go to the NRA ILA, and they have links. You just type in your zip code, and then it'll, so you can send a letter to your congressman, whoever they are. And I think they had typed in some other information which is required by Congress, because it goes through the switchboard. Anyway, have you found anything up there?
Okay, so here you go. So, and again, this is not going to be, spoken as a politician. So, when any government agency, period.
What are you reading? What are you reading first?
This is the way the government works. When any department, this is government law. When any department of the U.S. government, whether it's the EPA, anybody, whenever they have a rule change, which is what this is a rule change, they have to publish it in the Federal Registry. And one of the rules, the framework of using the Federal Registry, is that it must be open for comment for 60 days. And this is obviously not. And then once it closes, it goes under a review period, and then there's a ruling made. So that's what's going to happen on the 16th. It's going to be closed, then they're going to have a review, and then you're going to find out. But what I'm saying is that they're, again, they published it
in January. Right?
They asked for the comments over a 30-day period.
Right.
But it's not published in the Federal Registry either, I guess.
Isn't that what the printing was? Isn't that who printed it?
It might be, but even if it is, then it's still wrong, because it says 60 days. The rule is 60 days, and this is only 30. So that in itself is already a problem for them.
For public comments, but not. I don't think they published. I think when they printed it, that was publishing it.
This has to be printed for public comment, because that's what the original government is supposed to be, is the people. So this is a rule to keep this from happening.
Okay, well, where is this rule, just for the record?
Again, it's under the federal. If you look up how any department of government changes a rule.
I did. I asked you because I didn't want to have to look it up.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. But that's what it is. And I mean, again, it'll be. I'm sure there's 9 million ways to look it up, but but that's how it works. So I'm just saying this is one way that is a problem for them. And if one of these senators, all they have to do is get up and go, well, so I understand that you want to make this proposed rule change, and you haven't followed proper procedure. So again, that's what we're waiting to see what happens here. Because there's more than one politician talking about this. And it's not like they don't know this. That's the thing. And it's probably something that the NRA knows. That's who just called, by the way. The NRA was just calling me. I'm sure they're going to talk about the UN and how they're coming after my guns. But
they're coming after the NRA is coming after your money, I'm sure.
Exactly. That's why I didn't answer. But that's again, I don't know. I don't even want to get into learning how to speak government lingo. So in a nutshell, that's what it is. And I'm not. If I know about it, then the higher ups obviously know about it.
So I think all the congressional aides will. If they got 238 congressmen to sign that letter to the director of BAFI, then some congressional aide will figure out which regs they violated doing this. Not that will change what they're doing, but it'll provide the basis to throw it into a courtroom anyway.
Well, it might exactly change what they're doing, because if they did the procedures wrong, then they can't do it. They can't remove the exemption without doing it the proper way. See, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, it can change it. It could make this whole.
President tells them to, they'll do it. I mean, I don't,
Well, well, like I said, if they do it, then I hope this just wakes more people up, because if it's par for the course, then.
Well, I think the internet has definitely helped wake a lot of people up, because
Right.
I think a lot of the YouTube people that went out there, and all the small channels got it going, and then 2 weeks later, some of the bigger gun channels picked it up, too. They got around to it, and they have 500,000 subscribers. Then you can make a bit more of a splash when you do your video than small fries out here.
But I'm Facebook. I mean, I have like 900 people that I actually know on there, and they all talk about it, and they're definitely not on Facebook too. So whenever I start seeing stuff on Facebook and people talking about it, I know it's at least out in mainstream, because it's not. No, I'm not talking about gun channels on there talking about it. I'm just talking about people that I know that talk about it.
Yeah, well, I hope Gun Channels has a tech support site or something for dealing with Facebook and as far as lobbying and this. I mean, I need to try and separate my children's book from my gun channels, because I don't want to have all my single mothers seeing all my gun that I sell my children's book to sell all my gun stuff, because that'll freak everybody out.
Well, what do you? Oh yeah, well you got that's called a separate channel, is what that's called.
Yeah, but you know how they don't allow separate channels. Facebook just eats everything and thinks you're all about one thing.
Really?
So, yeah, and it takes your Twitter. Because I mean, I got a children's book, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and I don't have.
Oh, dude, I get all freaked out with the Google email, because anytime I email some of my clients, I think I had an icon of a girl with a machine gun, and I think all my clients, seriously,
all I
all
need
because
to
of
send
this
to some single mother with a kindergartner who wants the children's book,
Because Google Plus wants to make my life better by pissing me off.
Yeah,
that's why I'm logged in here as M. I'm not even in here as the tactical six string, for Christ's sakes, because I can't figure out how to make that my default account.
It's like we can walk and chew gum, but not on the internet.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Well, now that the government owns the internet, hopefully they'll fix that.
Yes, I don't know. I don't even understand what net neutrality means. I missed that.
That was like listening to a reloading chat. Because I have to plead ignorant as well. I haven't looked into this exactly what net neutrality really is meaning. So I'm with you on it.
Yeah, that they're probably going to have. I heard it was a good argument. I mean,
how come we didn't write letters about that? How come we weren't all up in arms about that?
Because I don't even know what it means.
Exactly.
Oh, we got somebody new on here.
All right, good. I'm tired, Brandon. No, just kidding. What's up, Brandon? How you doing?
Good, good. Man, I've been trying to get on your channels for 4 years.
Bam, there you go.
Finally moved to Arizona. I moved to Arizona and it happened.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's right, because G-Webs is there, so it's always easier when you're there.
Okay, so what's your opinion on all this shit?
Bring me up to speed real quick.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're on. Yeah, you're on. That's all you, brother.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Just basically talking about the ban, I mean, I'm quite frankly, and I hate to, I'm kind of sick of talking about it. I know that sounds stupid, you know what I mean? And I am on the chat. I'm just saying, I just don't think there's anything more I can say. Until something happens, but that's me.
Well, basically, what's new for anybody that just tuned in, although I think I said, is that they just found out today that they published the new regs. They wrote the new regs in September 2014. They published them, whether it was an official publication, they printed them in January, and then and we just found out about it today, over halfway through the comment period, which started in February 15th, I think. And so they already took out, back in September, the M855 exemption off the 2015 rules.
Right. Yeah, I remember hearing a lot about that stuff. Just a little background on it. I currently work with Homeland Security, and I'm a former law enforcement officer from California. And I used to also work part-time at a gun range out there. And I kind of remember like all this stuff happening kind of before they wanted to ban like other calibers and everything. And we saw a lot of the same sort of like super like ban this, ban that, but then it like went away. And I think a lot of what we're talking about now is like he couldn't ban everything just like that, so now they're trying to inch it like this. And my thoughts on it is like this is something we have to fight, you know, because if we don't, then he's just going to continue, or whoever gets into whatever office, they're going to continue to take inch by inch. And a lot of people definitely think that like, oh well, you know, it's just an ammo, it's not even good ammo. That may be, but it leaves a back door open to something. That's my thoughts.
So like what you're saying is, and this is what I said earlier, if you recall, why, that they could never come out and broad stroke the all 5.56 ammo. It just would not happen, period. So
Right.
what you're saying is backing up what I said, that it is the one little inch towards it. And even if it's not, it is significant. It's huge.
They're setting administrative precedent.
Right.
Yeah.
To make future banning easier. I think
And
we
once
definitely
they do
agree.
that, and once they go through that, it'll be easy for them to ban other stuff because they've done it before. And it's just a question of having a Democratic president who wants to ban it, and Congress doesn't have anything to say about it. What they want to do is they want to bypass Congress. They want to bypass Congress, and it's the same. If you listen to what Bill Clinton said like 5 years ago about what Clinton's strategy would be on guns, he said what we're going to do is we're going to bypass Congress, the National Congress, by doing state initiatives in every state in every elections. And you know the Dems have lots of money; they'll throw advertising, you know, at it, money in every state, and maybe the NRA won't be able to match it, you know, because the Clinton Foundation have almost as much money as Bill Gates, you know, or something like that, and they'll do state initiatives in every state. So they're just trying to go around the walls that are built up, you know, like having it pass a law through Congress. You know.
Right, and which is why I actually have a little bit of confidence to think that this is too big of a bite for him, I think. And I think it has brought up too much, and it's going to bite him in the ass. And I'm not just hoping that, because like you said, Brandon, that's always been on their mind is to broad stroke it, but they couldn't. And
but they're doing it a different way, you know.
Yeah,
they're doing it a different way.
They are doing it a different way, but they didn't choose very wisely. I mean, they'd have been smarter going after 50 BMG than this round, if they wanted to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, because this isn't even it's an armor-piercing round, so it by its own definition doesn't meet the criteria. That to me alone is something that's fightable enough. And this is a big change. This is rewriting a rule that a government department that has to enforce, and there is a procedure, and this is not the correct procedure. So I think they're kind of screwing up a little bit. And I don't think you can say, well, they're just going to do what they're going to do. You can't just say that.
I don't know.
It's not a SIG race. SIG race is still legal. I still own one. It's right there. They didn't make it illegal. You know what I mean? So it's different.
I know, but it's like, you know, when somebody, you know, it's like when you figure out how to defeat one missile system, if you're flying an airplane, then they hit you with some other kind of system, you know, and then when you figure out how to defeat that, then they shoot a different kind of missile at you, and we're dealing with different kind of missiles being shot at us now. So, and so when they go after it a new way, you can't tell, like this gets kicked into a court. You can't tell whether some judge will say, it'll be up to some judge or a panel of judges to say, well, the administrative procedure was wrong, but the law is fine. The ruling is fine, but even though they messed up on the administrative procedure not being followed doesn't rise to the level where we have the right to interfere, or some legal.
So well, then this is going to be a letdown of our representatives, and it's going to affect them in when we vote, and that's something that they care about, because there are, I venture to say now, millions of people that are talking about this and are opposed to it.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the White House.gov petition. It's like only at 80,000 or something.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that's crap. That doesn't elect people. I don't find that.
Well,
I mean, again,
indication of it doesn't elect people. It's an indication that politicians follow. You know, on how much issues.
I don't know so much about that. I don't. How many? Isn't there 204? How many people signed this thing in Congress already?
238.
So they've signed this. Obviously, it's being heard. It's not just. It can't be swept under the rug.
It's not going to be swept under the rug, but you know, it's not like millions of people signed the petition or something. You know. So.
Well,
yeah, but the majority of the congressional people did. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're the ones that represent 350 million people.
Yeah, but you have to think about what's going to be the impact in the next election. And
they know this will affect them. Believe me, this is one of the big topics. They know it is.
What makes me kind of hopeful about this whole thing is that the ATF, they tried to kind of sneak it under the rug. They're like, hey, you know, we're doing something here, but look over there, you know? Right. And people wouldn't have it. Like, it was amazing because I didn't hear anything about this until my father, who's a police chief in California, asked me if I knew anything about a ban on, armor-piercing ammunition. And I said, no, I've never even heard of anything. And that's when he showed me the article, and I was like, wow, really? And I said, you know, it's amazing how much momentum it's gained and how quickly, you know, this turned into a giant, you know, like something to talk about. Like, I'm seeing it on Fox News now. I'm seeing it on CNN. I'm seeing it on the internet. So it's something that they tried to do very, very secretly, and people just caught on, and it created like a giant windstorm. And I think they weren't expecting that. They weren't expecting to have this much backlash on it. But that's good.
And hence the 60-day period. Why the 60-day period is part of the rules and not 30 days. From what you know what I'm saying, as one of these reasons where they screwed up. Because you, like you said, you just barely heard about it, you know, when you did. That's why there's a 60-day period and not a month.
Right.
I read this all completely differently. I think it's being politicized on purpose. I don't think it was intended to be under the radar. I think it's a perfect topic for Congress to get involved with, to get their votes. And I'll give you the example right here, that article that came out today that said the 2014 regulations were printed without the exemptions for M855. I just read the 2008 rules, and I just read the 2014 rules. They changed the format of the rules. There are no exemptions listed in the 2014 ones at all. What's listed specifically by manufacturer is what's clearly defined as armor piercing. Okay, the M855 under the 2014 regulations is still exempted under the sporting clause because it hasn't been declared armor piercing yet. Okay, that's what they're looking to do. And I think this is all a dog and pony show. It became public for a reason, okay, as opposed to the SIG brace, to get Congress involved, because it is, as you say, a voting issue. So be careful what kind of argument you bring forth when you bring this stuff forth. That article is not written correctly, and it doesn't specify all the facts. The reports are from 2008 and 2014. Their formats change completely. Their definitions and their disclosures change completely. And if you read them, that gives us the strategy to go after and defeat them as to how they're going to try to get M855 banned, as opposed to just again saying the fear porn, which is not accurate, that, oh, they already banned it because it's in the 2014 regs. No, read the actual ATF reports. Okay, and then be careful how you choose to present the public argument, because if you do start screaming that it's already banned, they're going to turn around and say, no, you just don't know how to read.
What report are you referring to?
I'm referring to the ATF regs right off their website from 2014 that's cited in that article versus the ATF regs from 2008.
We linked the 2014 September with the new regs written in 2014 September. That's what we linked. That's what we posted, and they were published in January. I mean, what's more fresh than that?
So that's what he's saying.
No,
it's
that's
not
what
on
I'm
there because it's not armor-piercing ammo, so it doesn't need to be exempt.
In the 2008 report, they listed what constituted an exemption. In the 2014 report, they do not list exemptions, they list prohibitions.
Okay, so are you saying they completely flipped it around and they're going from they don't have to list exemptions anymore?
I don't know if they have to or not. All I'm saying is in 2014 they told you what you could have that was exempted. In 2008 rather. In 2014 they listed specifically what you cannot have.
Where in this 237-page document does it say that?
Page 190.
Okay, thank you. I'll go read page 190. Continue. I confess I did not read page 190. Let me go there.
I'll hold. Do 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 do.
Okay, I'm on page 190. Changes in operations, machine guns, going out of business.
Yes. Which subparagraph?
Are you in the 2014 report, right?
Yes. I'm in the September 2014, page 190. Post 86 machine guns, NFA firearms other than machine guns. NFA firearms in decedents estates. Okay, so what you just said. Wait a minute, that's page 189. Sorry, I typed page, but it says 190. Adobe is messed up.
Oh yeah, wait, Adobe, that differing page
it's
thing.
It's 191 on the right, on your counter on the right.
Armor-piercing ammunition. Under federal law, it is unlawful for any person, including licensed importers and import or manufacture armor-piercing ammunition unless such manufacturers through governmental agency, exportation, testing, experimentation, licensed dealers may only transfer armor-piercing ammunition to a government agency if it was received and maintained by the dealer. That's part of okay. GCA defines armor-piercing ammunition as projectile. This is the same definition, right? KCW, Arcane, THV, Czechoslovakian, German, MSC, black steel armor, black steel metal, 62 mm NATO AP, identified by black coloring in the bullet tip. Okay, that's 7.62. 7.62 NATO slap. PMC Ultramag, OmniShock, 7.62 steel core. So what part are you specifically referring to that says
now, if you go to the 2008 report, it doesn't list the specific rounds they have defined as armor piercing. Instead, it lists the exemptions.
So what you're saying is they could just add stuff to that list on a fly.
Okay. In 2008, they told you what they exempted that you could have. In 2014, they are telling you specifically what you can't have.
Okay.
So are you
They're defining armor piercing?
But armor piercing doesn't meet the definition, though. So that's why it may be. Are you saying this is good, Doc, or no?
What I'm saying is it's two ways to say the same thing, and this article is presenting them wrong. Okay? In 2008, in that report, if it did not list M855 as exempted, okay, then they would have had to define We say M855 is armor piercing. Technically speaking, by the blueprints of the round, it is not.
Well, yeah, what it says here is in a full jacketed projectile larger than 22 caliber, and we know that it's 223 is smaller than 22 long rifle.
But that doesn't matter. It's the 25% where they get in trouble because it's only 20% steel.
If that, I think it's like 18 actually.
Exactly. So this may actually be. You're right. The article itself, you're right. It is being presented different, wrongly, and I look at this as saying, hey, it's not even on here. So now that's why they're making a rule change to add it to this list.
Correct, because if it required an exemption in the 2014 report, it would have to say.
Okay, wait a minute. Stop.
No.
I have a question. I have a question, just because I thought on background, I thought the last report was in 2005, and they do this once every 10 years. Or am I wrong on that?
Well, I think they can update it. It's just republishing. They've changed the wording here, and the wording does not include 855, and for a reason. It doesn't meet their definition. So this is why we have an ATF ruling a month ago saying, hey, we want to add this to the list, and here's your chance.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
But okay,
You're right.
I'm confused on the reports. The
report's saying, look, they've already taken it off the list, when no.
I'm confused on the ATF public, because you're saying, I thought it was 2005 and 2015, and you're saying there's something in 2008.
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't matter what any of the other ones say. This one here clearly does not say 855 is banned. So, and they are asking permission now to add it to this list, the most current one, the one that matters. The wording was different than before. Now there's no exemptions. Now it's, hey, we got to find a way to ban 855, and we can't do it based on our own definition. So we didn't list it here. Now we gotta actually do it officially.
There you go.
So wait a minute. Let's go back further. So are all the other exemptions that they used to make now, or I mean, that means some stuff that's illegal now.
Well, what else is there that's exempt?
Have they banned anything in the last 10 years?
Well, that's a different question. The other, but you know what? I don't know. Is it a long list of exemptions or not? It can't be. Look at how short this list is.
But how many exemptions were there before January, before this year? How many exemptions were there?
Yeah, do you know the answer to that, Doc? Like, was there a lot of exemptions before or no?
Well, basically, I would have to go back through all of them. At some point in time between 2008 and 2014, in 2008, they said if it meets Part A or Part B, it's armor piercing, and they didn't apply that to the market on a line item basis. What they said was, okay, so that means 308 armor piercing fits in this description of A and B, and so blah, that's it. Now in the 2014 report, they have specifically listed the rounds on the list of prohibited. So I don't know specifically when that change took place. All I know is it obviously took place between these two reports.
Gotcha.
Well, I'm looking through the table of contents here really quick. See if there's anything else that's important.
So you know what's frustrating is then now you've got Katie Publish, who's actually pretty smart, and she's putting out this thing. And it kind of sucks because someone can come along and go, look, you're not even reading it right, like you're saying.
Which is why I'm saying that this is a politicized event. There has been more bullshit fear porn
if they wanted
around
to politicize it, I mean, how come I heard it on the NRA Cammon. That's not like, major media hearing it on the NRA Cammon Company show,
Oh, I know.
Well, no, that's the thing. Katie's putting out an article to promote the fear part of this thing.
Why didn't Congress sign a petition on the SIG brace that said how can you redefine engineering based on how you use
they didn't get thousands and thousands of faxes and emails from their voters.
But it's different. They didn't ban the SIG brace. That's the problem I have with the SIG brace.
If they came out and directly banned it, I'm sure you'd see attention.
They just redefined a definition, which is again was screwed up. Let's not but it wasn't like this because it was never presented to the ATF as a shoulder brace or stock. They said, no, it's still legal for you to make and sell, but you can't be making it your own SBR. That's where it got sticky there. And you're right. We should be up in arms about that because the whole idea of redefining what it is by changing its position is asinine.
I mean, even Hitchcock put out a video of him shooting, I think it was like a 500 Magnum braced on his knee, and had made subsequent comments about the fact that he had, quote unquote, redesigned it.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like what Max said from the Military Arms Channel. He said, like, if I drive a car off a cliff and it's in mid-flight and I don't have a pilot's license, am I in violation of FAA regulations because it's in the air? I mean, if what they're saying is like you redesign it. I mean,
well, I'm extremely frustrated that there is nobody going up against saying, "What are you, freaking idiots here? Listen to how stupid this argument is," and it is frustrating.
A cow ain't a bird if it was born in a tree.
But the problem I have and this is with all these things is, this is the fight we're fighting right now. We're not fighting the SIG brace thing. This is something that they're doing in addition to it. But now we got to focus on this, and it is pissing me off that it's not going deeper. That they've redefined a design by the way you hold it.
My problem in general is the impression that all of these people have at any form of government, that they can spin this shit. They can jerk us off, the fear porn, the misreporting, these news aggregation sites that if you trace back source information, there's nothing in existence. There's nothing, substantiating it at all. And it's a complete and total insult to my intelligence. Okay? If you want to fight, you fight intelligently. I am nobody's fucking pawn. I am nobody's puppet, and I don't care whose side you're on. So if you want to argue the facts, let's sit and argue the facts. If you want to put your spin on it, that's fine. But I'm not going to go wave your banner so that 5 minutes later somebody can say, look, you tinfoil hat idiot, you can't even read.
I can't read 292 pages like instantaneously, and basically when we saw that report, I know me and Tactical Six String right before this chat, he was ready to like exploded tacos. We had exploding tacos. We were just ready to blow up. So we started.
Well, and you know what? Part of that initial thing, and this is why it's good that we do this, was because it just was riling me up. And that's what the point of the whole thing was. And it kind of sucks that she's a pretty good gun support person, and she put this article out, and it actually doesn't make sense.
I'm not saying there's any malice here, and I'm not saying it's intentional, because I obviously don't care about intent. What I care about is the end result. But I mean, even if anybody listened to the chat last night that they had about the Stone Guy After Chat, which you should listen to, about Obamacare. No, there's something very important here.
Look, I don't listen to criminals and Nazi American Warning Channel. That's just me.
That's fine, okay? But you know what? Don't dismiss the information based on the source, because the fact of the matter is, if you're engaged in a battle of information, you have to be aware of everybody that's throwing bullets, whether they're accurate or not. And this is a perfect example. You don't want to listen to Dave Roberts. I understand that. That's fine. I don't particularly care for what the man has to say either. But on the other side of the coin, he does have some good researches. He does have some good information. However, everybody's ready to listen to this other chick that wrote this article without actually doing the same thing. And that's exactly my point. Okay, you get no credibility, okay, based on who you are. I already know that everybody's going to put their own personal spin on things because it matches their agenda. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, misrepresentation's misrepresentation, no matter what side it's coming from. Okay, so we can list how Cuomo passed the Gun Control Act after the Sandy Hook shooting in New York in violation of state law, which says that the bill needs to be in public circulation for 72 hours before it's voted on. They voted and passed it at like 1 a.m. without administering it to the public. Somebody challenged it in court, and he waived some emergency powers thing that said, oh, this doesn't apply. Nancy Pelosi admitted that the Health Care Act was so voluminous that nobody could possibly read it before the amount of time that was voted. Okay, these are the games and the tricks.
But you know how they won, how they won, and how we're going to win or lose is because this is America, this is the media, and you have to be able to reduce everything to a soundbite that makes sense and that people like in order to win anything. So, like Hitler figured out a long time ago that the facts and the don't mean, reality doesn't mean anything. It's people's perception that means everything, and that's how he got into power, and then did all the evil shit that he did. So, when we're dealing with media, you have to boil everything down to the lowest common denominator, and okay, I didn't read all 239 pages before we came on, and we were just pissed. And and then when I read the part, I just wanted to get up and piss on the computer screen because they changed everything, and they didn't say that we're changing how we're doing everything in the thing that they didn't even tell us about in the first place.
I
heard about it was on February 16th when they said, okay, this is open for public comment. I didn't know about. If it wasn't for her, I would have known about this September 14th document at all. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't, that she did something. There's a document written in.
Nobody's arguing that she didn't do anything. Nobody's arguing her intent. She put the information out there. That's exactly my point. Whether or not you don't like somebody or do like somebody is immaterial to what they're putting out and where they're putting out. And I didn't read both of these reports.
That it has on everybody. I mean, what I like to come out with, this is a soundbite. That they did it to us again by flipping the rules around, and that's what they did. Whether the way they flipped it around was what she implied or not,
Soundbites don't win in court.
Soundbites win elections.
They don't win in court.
They got Obamacare passed.
If you want to challenge something in court, a soundbite is not going to work.
I'll leave that to lawyers. I'm not slimy enough to be a lawyer, What can I say? I wrote an entire screenplay about a vampire that only attacks lawyers. It's called Beverly Hills Vampire. Yeah, I actually got that to 24/7 Productions, and that was one of those times when I said, we really love this screenplay, but we're not going to make it, And yeah, so that's what if you want to get me on lawyers, I will just rant. This is how lawyers work, and it works in every kind of law. You go to court, and either one of two things are going to happen. The lawyer's going to turn to you and say, we won, or he's going to turn to you and say, you lose. And either way, you're going to get a really huge bill. They will take cases that have absolutely no legal basis, and they will charge $500 an hour for as long as it can possibly go. Judge can throw out 99% of the case, and they'll keep it going for 5 or 10 years, however long there's somebody that can pay them.
Hold on 1 second. Hey, Cello, do you have the name of the girl that wrote the article? I don't know who wrote the original article.
It's Katie Pavlich. Here, I got the link right here. I did it. Let me put it back in the.
So when you get to lawyers or
I like her a lot, by the way. I think she's hot, but
I don't know. I don't know who she is. I don't know.
She's on NRA radio all the time. Those videos. That's how I first saw her. She works for nationaltownhall.com or something.
I think she's also like a Fox News contributor.
And she's been on Fox before. I've seen her on TV on Shooting USA and stuff. So she's known in the gun community type of thing. But there's the.
So let's boil this whole thing down and forget about lawyers and what is the soundbite that we can come up with. That what is the core thing that we have to do? How we motivate people to get out there and do stuff. That is what got the 238 signatures is people faxing the congressman. So You know, we need more people to do that. You know, whatever their motivation, or whether they understand this thing or not. What do we take away from this, and where do we go from here? So let me ask that question out to you guys.
It quite honestly depends. It depends on where it goes. If you know, right now we have the petitions, we have the banging on Congress, we have the whatever. It's turned into the political process. Okay. Do I think, based on my interpretation, that it is going to be banned? No, I do not. Okay. Subsequently, if it is banned, that is where this all becomes relevant. Because if it is banned, it then goes into a court system to get it overturned. And that is where the facts become more important than the sound bites. So if you want to play the sound bite game, that's fine. Just be careful what bites you're putting out there and what it makes you appear to be in the court of public opinion.
Right, but I've never met a Democrat or seen a Democrat on TV that would actually not only not read a 292-page document at all, but wouldn't understand anything about guns. You know, they don't understand anything about them. You know, the anti-gun people, they don't know anything. You know, they come on. 99% of them are just, you know, brain dead and you know, repeating whatever they heard on MSLSD.
MSLSD. I was born and raised in California and pretty much surrounded by like anti-gun people all over the place. And it was interesting enough that you have pretty much what I like to call the world according to San Francisco. You have a giant area full of like anti-gun people, and then you have Los Angeles full of anti-gun people, but everywhere surrounding that whole state is full of people in the middle or they're pro-gun. But those are the people's voices you don't hear because they either, to this point now, feel that it doesn't matter. Like, I don't, you know, why am I going to cast my vote for somebody who believes in what I believe in? They won't win anyways. Like, I voted for Tim Donnelly, you know, to run for governor when I lived in California. And it didn't even, like, make it to the primaries. So I think just that's how anti-gunners win. They go through this overwhelming majority and they get these people that are in power that have no term limits, and they stay in power for so long that people just get tired and they wear them down. And people always criticize me for leaving California because I got to Arizona last year and they're like, oh, you're giving up, you're letting them win. And it's like, at what point do you just become so tired of trying to fight like to get standard capacity magazines? In California, we couldn't even get everyday handguns because it didn't fit their handgun roster. I had to work in a shop where I had a single shot, a Glock Generation 4, which process is we put in a long barrel in there so it could only single shot drop into the chamber, pull trigger, repeat. They have to walk outside, bring it back in, and then all this stuff that just to circumvent the roster law. I mean, that's how bad California's gotten. And then there's actually, they have a law now in Sunnyvale where you can't be even in possession of a high-capacity magazine, or, you know, you can get jail time. So I guess, you know, I'm saying that to say this, like, how can we change, how can we fight these people that have, one, no idea what they're talking about, but they have such extreme power, and like you guys were saying earlier, you know, it's, reality doesn't make any sense, you know, it's like, you know, what...
Reality doesn't matter.
Exactly. So I would hate to see the rest of the United States go to the way of California, because California used to be a great state, and now it's bankrupt, full of crime, and, you know, like, it's terrible to live there. And people that have gun stores in California can't make a living. All the gun stores are closing up. People are losing business because they can't sell product. We had a whole line of firearms on display for sale that are illegal now to sell to the general public. And they're just like Glocks, SIGs, Berettas that don't, you know, fall under the roster. Or even the rifles now, they're falling under the roster. You can't make pistols anymore under AR-15 stuff. The SIG brace, forget about it. You know, it's just, they're going nuts.
Oh, and you have the micro-stamping thing.
Oh, yeah, that we actually just lost that battle. Just like last week, a federal judge up in Sacramento said that pretty much that it's constitutional to have the roster. It doesn't interfere with the Second Amendment. And
Sunnyvale case in California.
And everybody from California likes to come to Texas, having successfully ruined California. They think they're going to ruin Texas. We pretty much quarantine them.
Make
We do.
Permit. Give them a permit. Anybody from California has a visa to enter Texas.
They're quarantined into gated communities in certain little subsections for their own safety.
Well, I live in North Scottsdale, and there's a huge Democratic area around here. It's pretty liberal. Like and I have no problem, like, either side of the aisle. Just leave my dang guns alone, And it's like my dad's a Democrat, but he's pro-gun, and it's weird. And it's like I see people driving around here with Obama Biden stickers and all that stuff, and it's like okay. But then I saw one that had an Obama Biden and then it had an NRA sticker on there, and I was like, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Did you just say Yankee Marshall's your daddy?
Yeah, right.
Well, here's another perfect example. I just got this today. Before Texas legislature opened in January, the Shannon Watts whole Bloomberg thing, because they had faced such massive failures on a federal basis, they announced their plans that they were going to do this state by state. We have the things in Washington, and they had announced that they did this over the last summer. They had come and set up a thing where they were auditing places of business. We have in Texas, so let me give background. We have what's called a 3006 sign. Stated in Texas law is a paragraph and dimensions. And if you want to make your business a gun-free zone, you have to post a sign that's adherent to the 3006 law. And it just, it's just a couple of sentences. It has to be posted in Spanish and English. The letters have to be 1 inch high. And that's basically that. You have the sign printed. You can buy them in stores. And if you post it up, that means that if I concealed carry on your premises and it's for some reason found out that I'm concealed carrying, the business owner has the right, or management has the right, to ask you to leave. If you refuse to leave, you can be ticketed for trespass if you are a licensed carrier. Okay. Now, they announced this, okay, that they wanted to change the Bloomberg party. And when I say party, I mean literally a party, because he's a political party of his own, basically.
Sure.
They wanted to change it so that the gun with the circle with the red stripe through it has the force of law in Texas, okay? And they put that bill in on the floor today, okay? So everybody's like shocked about this. I'm like, they told you they were doing this like more than 6 months ago, okay? They were here. Why are you shocked?
But they're not going to pass that.
No, technically speaking.
Well, then who cares? You know what was really cool that was on the Cammett Company at the end of the report was they had the shooters. Speaking of restaurants, they have the shooters restaurant where all the waitresses carry 45s.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, and they had all the menu items were like a M16 burrito or double barrel omelets or something like that. It was sounds like someplace I feel really safe eating, but might have to tip the waitresses more.
Right. We have the same thing here. We have those. We have the because I'm going to the movies tonight, and in our theater we have a big old sign that says no Berettas. So apparently they don't like the 92FS, which is fine. I carry an M&P. So, but
1911s only or something.
Yeah, right?
No Glocks.
No Glocks. But I've been noticing those signs pop up more and more. And so what our local gun club does, the Scottsdale Gun Clubs, they hand out these little business cards to people, and it says, basically like, I'm a law-abiding citizen. We have constitutional carry in the state. I would love to come back and patronize your business, but unfortunately, my business is not appreciated here. I'll go to the next pizza shop, or I'll go to the next theater, or whatever. Because if we're caught with our firearms in a store that has that sign up, it's not illegal yet. We haven't had the thing that Texas, I guess, is trying to pass. But they can kick us out, and if we don't leave, it's trespassing. So, but as of right now, Arizona's pretty pro-gun. In fact, we got something going through the legislature that's going to supposedly nullify all the NFA laws. I don't know. It would
Well,
basically.
on a state-by-state basis, there's different levels of that. Like I said, here there's a statute, and it declares by law what you need to do if you want that. There are other states where apparently you can write in Crayola crayon on a piece of construction paper, no guns, and that actually bears what they call the force of law. Okay, which means that, you know, however you express it, if you say you don't want guns here, that's, you know, covered under that state law. And there's varying degrees of that through different members here on gun channels that I've heard of. So whatever state you're in, it behooves you, if you are, even if you're not carrying, it behooves you to see how it's stated expressly, you know, how you can be prohibited from carrying a gun.
Right. Yeah. You know, and it'll be interesting to see where all this lands, all of this stuff. I mean, because it gets tiring, you know, and I'm sure everybody can identify with that. Like, you're constantly fighting for your inalienable rights that you have under the Second Amendment, and people are constantly trying to put amendments to it or take it away or restrict it. And it's like, man, I wake up every day, it's just like, just leave it alone, you know? Criminals are always going to be criminals. There's always going to be really evil people in the world, and you can't stop that. You know, but I guess they can't accept that, to where they think they live in this unicorn world that, well, if we just ban everything, you know, we're not going to have crimes. And then they try to compare us to other countries. It's like, well, you can't. We're the United States. We're different than every other country. And, you know, it's just, it gets really tiring.
And we're better than every other country, too.
Heck yeah. So.
Well, you had asked earlier about, you know, how do we combat this? How do we fight this? The first thing is to be aware of what you're fighting, and you just hit the nail exactly on the head. Our opponents argue emotionally a non-existent ideological future that we could have, quote unquote, if only, ... We argue based on today, right now, this moment, and our past, where we started from and how we got here. Okay, and it's like, you know, oil and water.
Yeah, but what you're missing is, like, when you came on and we're saying, hey, you know, these are the facts, but, you know, we're dealing in the media world, and in the media world, you know, with perception being greater than reality, the sound bites matter, and like you said, when you get into court, okay, then the facts matter. So we're like hell and gone from court, you know, right now. So
well, exactly, but that means that
we're in a green chip zone. Is where we are.
But that means that you are actually condoning the same behavior that you're condemning them for. They're lying, so we're going to lie back.
When you pull out a lawyer, it's like pulling a gun. Okay, it's exactly the same thing. You're going to have a deal with a lot of consequences. Going to cost you a hell of a lot of money. You know, and, you know, and somebody's going to pull a lawyer and point him right back at you. So I suggest you can win the politics. Well, it's like what they said about when they had that what did they had on the Daily Show when they had that ban on okay, yeah, it was Nutella. They had Nutella used to run this ad that said, you know, it's good. Basically, it's like this chocolate peanut butter spread you put on toast. And they had this ad that said, you make this is great for your children to start every morning with, you know, Nutella spread on toast, and it's healthy. It's a healthy good. So that it's not, in the FDA and called the FCC, and they fined them $2 million, made them take the ad down. And because everything in there was false. You know, it's not a healthy breakfast every day for your children. It's chocolate and nuts, peanut butter sauce, and that's it. And you shouldn't give your kids that every day for breakfast. So but then, you know, but then you compare that to like a political ad, and if you're making, that was a television ad that they made them take down off of TV and commercial. But if you make a commercial and you lie about it for Nutella, then they fine you and make you take it down. And, you know, but if you make an ad for 30 seconds and it's political ad, then you can lie all you want, because you could, and the government protects you because that's political free speech.
Right.
And so the bottom line is you can make an ad for the most, if you're supporting like a political ad for President of the United States, the most powerful office in the world, where you could blow up the city by pushing a button, you can lie all you want. But if you want to make a television ad for 30 seconds to sell chocolate-covered nut sauce to put on toast, then they're going to fuck you up, you know, really bad, you know, because that's not political free speech. So, you know, what you're dealing with here is a media war until you get to, and, you know, what side you're on, and, you know, it's not that the facts don't matter, but, and you don't have to have a command of the facts, but it's just like, you know, perception being greater reality, your strategy, and that's why you can lose. You can be right on the facts and lose in election. I mean, look at John Huffman. He's like the smartest guy in the whole Republican Party in that campaign. He could speak to him in China, but he said something in Chinese that nobody understood because he was the ambassador to China, and he's just like so far over everybody else's head it didn't matter if he would have been a good president or not, you know, presidential candidate or not. I mean, he wasn't good at communicating to people he was trying to communicate. So Reagan was called the great communicator, you know. Clinton could feel your pain, and I don't want to get into Obama because if he's still president, wait till he retires. But, you know, so I think the important thing is to figure out what to do next, and, you know, whether it's on gun websites, you know, because with this thing here, it's like, okay, they changed the rules and they didn't tell us. We didn't even know that they changed the rules because, and they go reporting it, and so, like, you know, what do we do now? What do we say about this? You know, and I'm still mad. I'm just mad for a different reason now. I'm mad because I didn't understand that page 191 or 2 that they completely changed the format in addition to, you know, everything else that they did wrong, and you know, and I'm sure that congressional aides could figure it out which rules and regulations they broke. The ones that they're changing here, it's just, I'm still mad. They're still trying to do the same shit. They're trying to do it different. And that's like, you know.
And to be mad is to be irrational, and that is what they want, an emotionally irrational opponent.
Well, didn't you say you liked the what was that chat that everybody what was that chat you liked yesterday? That was on? You don't think those people are emotionally irrational? It's fun. It's fun to watch.
Of course it's fun to watch, and I agree with you. It is advertising. It is theater, okay? It is designed as propaganda to manipulate emotions. I mean, you know, the Yankee even said it last night, you know, the Yankee Marshal is a YouTube character. It's an act. It's an actor. Okay, and if you want to act in the court of public opinion, be careful what role you play and make sure you're playing your role, not the role that they are manipulating you into. Okay, that's important. Okay, so again, I understand that you're mad, okay, and I understand the reasons why you were mad initially. Okay, now you're mad for a different reason, which again is understandable because yes, nobody pointed out to you until now that they changed the format of the disclosure. Okay, but again, this is information to our side, to us, to be able to say these are the games that are being played. They're being played on both sides. You know, let's run out and hoard ammo. Okay, let's do this, let's do that. Look at all the random knee-jerk reactions that us as a community has had through the propagation of a lot of these things. Okay, so you're saying, okay, what can we do in the court of public opinion? And what I'm saying is one of the things you should not do is take this article as written and run with it as any sort of basis in fact whatsoever. Okay, I gave you my interpretation based on the fact that now I didn't read both of these reports in their entirety. I used the Control-F function in Adobe when I downloaded them, and I picked out the two relative sections and compared them. Okay, and so you know what? You do that, and you do your own interpretation, and that's the face that you want to put out in in the court of public opinion. And to me, the court of public opinion is how I live my life 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay, that is my best personal case. Now, I have read those reports, and I am not arguing her intent. I am not arguing that she had any sort of malice. I'm not arguing that she was aware of what she was doing. All I'm saying is that I can sit down with both of those reports from the .gov website and pretty much prove to anyone that her interpretation is missing 50% of the facts. What she stated is true, but she did not give you the whole picture.
All right, well, you sound like that guy who used to, what was that, his radio thing? Now you get to hear the rest of the story. And you're in a green tip zone.
The Twilight Zone.
That's why I subscribe to that. Those guys on YouTube. It's called the Stuff They Don't Want You to Know, and it's two guys from Discovery Channel that are behind the scenes, and they do pretty good videos every week, and it's definitely up my alley. And they say halfway through the video, it's now here are the facts, and they cover everything from what is ISIS. Are aliens real? You know, it's just kind of awesome the way they do everything. What is Bilderberg? You know, what is Illuminati? What are the facts? You know, and it's a 9-minute thing.
Oh, we can do hours on that.
Oh yeah, baby.
I have to bounce for a bit, but I just wanted to say I just wanted to give you my interpretation on that, and I think it's a great chat so far, and it's good to see you guys here and doing it. And I have to go back into lurk mode for a bit, but I shall be lurking.
All right.
Hey, I want to thank you. You definitely opened my eyes on that, and I'll tell you what, Dr. Noah, it makes perfect sense to me, your interpretation, and reading it myself. Again, it doesn't solve our problem, but you're right. This one article definitely is like, uh-oh, no.
Okay.
We're like the rest of America because, you know, we buy a computer and we don't read the manual.
Right.
Well, here's the other thing too, and this is just a strategy thing. One of the questions that's been bandied about is how are they going to do this? Are they going to do this through interstate commerce? Are they going to do this by a change in definition? Well, if you look at the 2014 report, to me what becomes apparent is the way they are going to have to change it is to add M855 specifically into that list that's on page 190, and in order to do that, they're going to have to take the engineering diagram of the round and prove that it fits into the definition of armor piercing specifically as a round, okay, that it qualifies under their existing definitions. So they're either going to have to qualify it by name or they're going to have to change their definition. And one of the reasons why I think that they put the proposal out into public opinion is because both of those things are technically they need approval to do it.
Right. And
I think they've already made up their minds.
This is the irony of it is
they've already made up their minds, and the facts and the text specs
that's fine,
will not matter.
This article does is it exposes the reason why they came out with the proposal, because they have to update their report, and in order to do that, they need to do the certain steps. And you're right, they absolutely it doesn't fit their criteria to be on this list, so now they're going, hey, we forgot to put something in there. Here's 30 days. If we don't hear from you, we're going to throw it on the list.
Oh, yeah, well, lawyers mess up, too. People that write things mess up, too. I could tell you know how George Lucasfilm, you know how Lucasfilms got started? It's because a lawyer messed up. He took out, when they made the original Star Wars at Fox, the lawyer that worked at Fox legal department forgot to put in the clause for the sequels. And nobody back then even thought that there was going to be a sequel because nobody in the distribution department thought, oh, this isn't going to make any money. Some dumb science fiction movie will put it up, it will die. And
he was a genius,
too.
It
again. No, he got lucky. He got lucky because then when it was a big hit, then they went and looked back and they had the clause for the sequels, which
and
they
he knew
wasn't there. So
he had the merchandising license. He was smart. He knew the merchandising was where the money was.
Well, he had all the rights after they put in the clause of the sequel. I mean, That's how it got started, because the lawyer fucked up. And that lawyer was fired, but who cares? That's like millions and millions and millions of dollars that Fox, billions of dollars that Fox didn't get. And then, you know, Rupert Murdoch came in and bought it after that, you know, and but anyway, I won't get into the film industry noir, but, you know, generally lawyers fuck up and, you know, then you hire a different, more expensive lawyer. I don't know. Go ahead.
I just can't help but thinking like how I think the greatest way, because like what does the other side do? They used fear and emotion to make us as gun owners look like, you know, we're just these feared people, these militant that just want to, you know, just have everything under the sun and just we don't care about people and we're bloodthirsty, and that's the way they portray us and that's the way the media portrays us. What are some of your guys' thoughts on how we can actually, I mean, forgive a lack of a better term, but mainstream? Like, I don't know if anybody's ever caught the show like Noir on the NRA channel, but it's almost like I'm watching like you know, a sharper image with guns and ammo / Maxim magazine. I mean, it's got Range Rovers, Daniel Defense, and it's something that we should be seeing on TV. It's that good. It's a pretty well-produced show.
They have the Outdoor Channel. I mean, you know, but I don't like to do things about the Outdoor Channel. Like,
right. And it's like, but it's like, how many people do you think like watch like the normal person, the person like think of how many ideas could change like if you, because it's like the other day I was like talking to my friend and I was like, you know, I remember when I lived in California, I didn't want to talk about guns in a restaurant because it's almost like you know you kind of turn your head like, oh, is somebody listening to my conversation? Because they look at you like, ah, a gun owner. You know, it's like you get that.
Well, there was a ton of positive feedback from Top Shot and stuff, but then when Sandy Hook happened, all the networks just got scared and turned their backs on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? There was a lot coming out. There was the American Guns, and you know there was a lot of channels and a lot of shows like Top Shot that people really liked, and it certainly was. Even if it wasn't getting a huge number of, it was definitely getting out there that, hey, look at this, look at what these gun things are, and they totally got yanked right after Sandy Hook.
Yeah, well, you know, media strategy is like, you know, spitballing with, you know, ad agencies, and you know, like when I did my Viva Green Tips video, I wish I came out with it a week earlier, like my just original. I was one of the first people on YouTube that posted any video on the M855 ban comment period and that stuff, and then it got like 800 views, like, you know, like in 2 days or something, and it's a lot for my channel because it's a really small channel. And but if I would have done my Viva Green Tips, that's just like a better video, you know. It's like you have to have a viral videos, you know, and stuff but you have to be really quick and talented enough to come up with something, you know, just like that when you need it. And so other than viral YouTube videos, you know, cats with guns, I don't know, anything that works, you know, but it's and you have to pick out the right time when an issue spikes, you know, and type in all the right keywords for everybody's searches to come in on Google or whatever. So when they type, I want to know about this, that, and then everything comes in. Yeah, the video has to be great, and that's one way to do it. I don't know if there's other strategies, you know, but that's all I can do with a small YouTube channel, I think. But yeah, maybe gun websites will, you know, figure something out, you know, after they, you know, get their initial platform, you know, up and running on how to do this. But you know, they try and have, you know, sites that, you know, people keep videos that people like to watch, and if it's people arguing irrationally with each other, you know, and that's fun to watch, you know. But I don't know. So figuring out a strategy that will work is that's really hard.
It is, and I tried to like make sort of like a group when I was in California, because I remember like after Sandy Hook, when I went into the shop and I was opening up the range, we had people out there. We had two groups of people. We had people out there with signs that said, you know, blood on your hands. People were spitting on us, and then the other people were buying up all our ammos and our AR-15s. So, and it's like you try to have a rational conversation with the people that hate you. It's like, look, I've done nothing wrong here, okay? I promote safe shooting, a great way to families for get together, have fun, enjoy their Saturdays, you know, like, and to get out and do something rather than just been playing video games all day. Which is nothing wrong with that. I play video games, but you know, they look at it as like, you know, like, oh, you're promoting violence and stuff, and because quite frankly, that's all that gets pumped into them every night at 7 o'clock. When they watch the media, you never hear about positive things with firearms. It's always bad. Just like with police, you never hear about all the good stuff, all the bad stuff they do. And it gets to the point that like you're constantly fighting the media too, and that's the biggest thing. And that's why I think it's great that YouTube is exploding with like the alternative media, with SHOT Show and how big that was, and that it's actually become more of like the world's biggest like gun show, even though it's made for distribution people and the industry. Like I got in there last year at 2014. And I tried to, take a bunch of videos and stuff, and I summed it up to like 3 minutes, like Yankee did, which was a pretty good idea because you look at everybody's YouTube now, and there's like SHOT Show this, SHOT Show that, SHOT Show this. But it's a way to kind of normalize our sport and put it in the mainstream and make it more socially acceptable. But it is dependent on where you live, what geographic location. And because they're like in California, like if you wear a shirt that says NRA or Smith & Wesson, people are like, oh God, he's probably in the militia, and he's probably probably lives in a wood shack somewhere, and and blows up gasoline in his backyard, and again, not that there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like that's how they make every gun owner out to look like, and and it's just trying to get away from that stigma is what's really hard.
Well, I think social media is part of the answer, and so there's got to be a lot of different strategies. Maybe at some point we could G. Webster put together a social media engineering conference, which is, I don't think we're qualified or set up to do that here. But there's got to be a way to maximize how effective we can be.
Well, honestly, that's why he's been doing the Gun Channels University. I don't know if you've caught those chats. He did 2, I think, so far, where I don't know if this is what you're meaning, but that
was overly technical to me. I meant overall strategies, But
well, you know what? And I kind of with you on that. But when I was in the first one, and I was trying to be more like what you're asking, he wants to do it in segments. He wants like one episode to be, all right, so this is what you do for this, and then I think he's going to maybe cover, because he wanted to focus each episode on a certain aspect of it, as opposed to just a general here, here, and here. I think he's definitely going to get to that, because I was, in the first one, I was kind of trying to bring stuff up, and he's like, well, I want to keep that for a different one. So he'll do it. It'll get to that. I think.
Yeah, like the more we normalize something, the more it will be acceptable to people, and it won't be like the fringe or the kind of, hey, I don't know for sure, but I think my neighbor, he's into guns, and it's like it's like, oh yeah, he goes target shooting, yeah, it's awesome, it'll just.
A lot of people here, if they hear their neighbors into guns, they call the cops,
Yeah. Yeah, like when I lived in California, like I did not have any NRA stickers on my car. I did not have like any sort of like things that's I didn't wear any shirts that said I go shooting. Like when I was gonna go shooting like the next day, like I would have my weapons in just regular looking cases, because then like I had a neighbor across the street who would always go target shooting and stuff, and we actually had like neighbors call the cops on him. They're like, oh, he had a gun, he's putting one in his car. The police would show up, they'd run his background, and it's just, and that's but people are so afraid of what they don't understand that automatically you're a criminal, and it's it's like I wish people would just come up and talk to you, but unfortunately all the stuff there's foon sped all day by like the AR.
Do you think the facts are gonna matter to those people? I mean,
well,
you need sound bites. You need,
that's the people that we actually have had long chats on this. I mean, I think we're talking about is those people that are on the fence. Yeah, that's what we need to target. But the people that are anti-gun, you're almost wasting your breath.
Yeah, but so what I'm saying is
they need something to happen to them.
When they write a film or a screenplay, they target the lowest common denominator a lot of the times. They don't want anything that's good. They don't want any good screenplays. They want stuff that targets the lowest common denominator, and that's honestly how you have to set up your campaigns if you want to affect change. You know, set up politics or sell anything to anybody, or make somebody go watch a film. It's like you set it up for the lowest common denominator.
And I feel that the overwhelming majority of the population is on our side, but the people in power that are making the rules are the few, and they're making decisions for the vast majority of people, which is the whole reason we're doing this, to try to get people woken up enough.
Those people that are in charge were elected by the lowest common denominator.
They are, but because people aren't one-issue voters. I mean, they're not. This is one of the problems. Is they're not. They might be on the like, yeah, I don't care about the Second Amendment. That's fine. Do what you guys want. But they're pro-choice or they're pro-life, and that's how they voted. And it just so happens it was a Democrat. Or you know what I'm saying? It's not that simple. I don't think, because look at Hawaii. In Hawaii, what's the deal? You guys are living in a sea of Democrats there. So Hawaii, I bet if you polled, but I mean, so what does that mean, though? I mean, those people were elected, and that sucks. But
you can't compare Hawaii. You cannot compare to Hawaii to any other part of the continent of the United States. These people a whole nother chat. If you want to do a Hawaii chat, we'll get me and Z Hawaii on here. And we could tell you everything that's wrong with Hawaii, but that's like a 10-hour chat.
Well, just saying, they were elected.
Like I said, it's a 10-hour chat, and
wasn't Obama born there? Wasn't Obama born in Hawaii?
Rumor has it,
Or
there was
Kenya?
articles. The governor, right? Well, this is supposed to be a green tip zone, huh?
Well, that's what happens after an hour and something minutes. It always gets.
How long is this chat so far?
I think you're up to. Let me see. I think it's up to 2 hours. Yeah, 2:05.
We've been ranting for 2 hours.
Yep. That's what happens. These afternoon chats turn into the early evening chats.
Oh wow, we're about to become mainstream.
Yeah. This is what happens.
Hey guys. I hate to be rude, but my girlfriend's blown up my phone. We're gonna go see that Chappie movie tonight, so
there you go.
Thanks for stopping by and visiting the Green Tip Zone.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd like to be invited to more chats or something. I'm definitely plugging in a lot more. And
yeah, just hit the lobby at the gun websites. I mean, I don't even know how to start a channel yet on there, but
we're all actually relearning too. So everybody's learning the new format, and it's not done yet either. It'll be easier.
If you're just watching this on YouTube, go over to gun websites. Gun Channels is gunchannels.com.
Yeah, Gun Channels for sure is the key to this whole thing.
Yeah, gunchannels.com and sign up. And there's a lot of good information here, and there's a lot of good people on here, and there's some really crazy people that are fun to watch argue with each other.
I signed up for the monthly 762 subscription. And then, I bought a bunch of G-Web's, the Brace This patches and all the media press stuff, and so, and I already made an account there, and then I also have Google Plus. So I've been trying to set this thing up, but this is actually the first time I was able to.
I'll tell you, I abandoned Google Plus about 2 days after it went over, so I have no clue what happens in Google Plus world. So the key on here is now to be following and joining the channels that do these chats.
I haven't even figured out how to do all of that yet. But
I just rely on my old account on here to.
Well, if you sign up to my channel, I'll hit you back. Hawaii Volcano.
Oh, I subbed you tonight. I wasn't subbed to you before, so on YouTube I subbed to you.
As soon as it shows up on the list, I'll sub you back. I think it takes
because that happens too. I'll go to YouTube, and if there's a chat live, I know I can go to Gun Channels, and it's one of those guys, and then get into the chat there. And then you can get onto the Hangouts too. A lot of these will be open.
Go see a movie, dude. Go see your movie with your girlfriend.
Yeah, Chappie, that's a good one. There you go.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for having me. Take care. We'll chat later.
Yeah. Aloha.
See ya.
Peace. We got Mr. D.B. Cooper is in here.
All right, let's hear your opinion on all this.
There we go. Now for the other side.
What else did we fuck up on today?
Yeah,
he's muted. Talk.
DB's got something to say. I know it. He's got to speak up. He's definitely got an opinion.
Well, he's still muted.
He's feeding the dogs.
Feeding the dog?
He's got the little dogs.
I wanted to go make a green tip margarita so somebody else could talk for a little while.
Yeah, I just had to go. I had to make a couple more tacos when Dr. No was schooling us there. Hey, he made sense though. You know what I mean? The way I read it, it makes sense. But it makes both his points were right because.
But it doesn't change anything.
But you know what it did? To me, it actually put out. This is the reason that the ATF has come out with this proposal because it is not listed on their official documents, and this is why they have to do this so they can change that report. So it does reflect what he was saying was, in a nutshell, it's not on the report because it doesn't meet the criteria for armor-piercing ammo. And they're all of a sudden now they're backdooring it because they want to be more sneaky about naming specifically ammo and things like that.
Yeah, but there's nobody. The only people who adjudicate what the regs mean are the people that write the regs, and these are the same people. So, like I said, they've already made the decision. In my view. But,
well, I mean, again, what I said earlier is the reason they're doing this because they have to make it public. They can't just change it.
Yeah, well, it's all confusing to me. You know, I mean, like I said, the deeper you go, the more pissed off you get. You know, shit. So.
Yeah.
And the less it makes any sense, you know, the more confused. Not only are you mad, you're mad and confused. Because who understands all that shit, you know?
Now I'm just tired. Now I want to kick back. What's today? Friday?
It's Aloha Friday.
All right. What's going on with DB there? What's happening, man? He's fluttering around.
Well, dude, I'm very happy that I joined Everytown, and we're sitting here listening to this chat. We're having a great time.
Excellent.
Drinking Chardonnay. Yeah, drinking Chardonnay. We have a cheese plate. You know, it's just we're drinking Zinfandel over here, laughing at you hobbyists.
Yep. And
gun nuts and selfish human beings, man, with no common sense. So
and that's what it is in a nutshell. I actually was getting in. I made a comment on that page, and then I realized the girl I was making a comment on was a member of Everytown as well. So yeah, you guys are everywhere. It's fun.
There's so many other hobbies we should get into. There's remote control helicopters.
Dude, the quadcopters. Drones. Yep. No,
there are some real quadcopter videos of.
Hey, I got 2 regular helicopters, man. I'm ready for that chat. Let's bring that on. You know.
Yeah. Well, these are hobbies I need to get into once guns are banned. Because you're
going to be happy because they're rather affordable, DB. I'll tell you. You know, under $100, nice. You could have 3 or 4 good copters.
Yeah, and you put a GoPro video on there, or some kind of transmitter, and you got like a, you know.
I heard
all the money you save.
I heard this shit is expensive. I heard like the batteries are expensive, the servos, the remote.
Dude, I have that miniature one. It was like $25. Comes with the remote and all that. The one that whole Quark thing, though, those quadcopters, those are $50, and it comes with everything. You know, you want to buy extra batteries, but yeah, no, you and I, man, we're getting on that bandwagon. I mean, I ain't gonna have no ammo left to shoot.
You know what's really going to be cool is when we can get drones to deliver ammo from the local gun shop. That would be really cool. So you don't have to go to the gun shop. You just call up the store, and like they want to do for pizza, they just get the drone to fly to your house and drop off the ammo on your porch.
You know what? And that's interesting because I'm into that. I'm into that a lot. But how did Handgun Newbie marry that girl Katie Povich or whatever? I can't believe Handgun Newbie and her are engaged. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you watch Practically Tactically? She was on his show today. They did a Google Hangout.
Oh, really? I did not see
Really? That. And, man, he is definitely, she's way out of his league, but somehow he convinced her.
Yeah, I have a thing for her, so that's upsetting to hear.
So props to Handgun Newbie for that, man. Marrying up in the world, man.
When I understand women and love, I'll write a book on that. Or I'll at least do a 30-second video.
she is hot, dude.
She is hot. She's
She's got one of them phantom stashes, but
exactly. She does have some phantom stash. But that's okay. That's okay because it works.
I don't think she's gonna be on our chat tonight.
No. Hey, a little peach fuzz, that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I hate that shit.
little bleach, dude. That's all.
I dumped
Cream
her
bleach.
blonde because she didn't want to dump her mustache off.
I'm just kidding. She doesn't have a phantom stash. She is beautiful, man.
She is very
Come on
beautiful.
the chat. We'll be normal.
Yeah, I've had a thing for her for years. I think.
So we're gonna get back to green tea. You have any?
This is DB stage. I'm going muted for a minute. DB, you've got the stage now, boy. It's all yours.
I don't even know what to say. I don't know what happened. I watched the chat with her and Hanga Newbie, and she was basically saying like it's already been banned, and in their regulations anyway, and it's nothing. That wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't make me upset. I mean, it's not surprising. It's like when Darth Vader blows up a planet. You know what I'm saying? Are you like surprised and shocked, or you just be like, you're at it again, man? Like, that's what the Death Star was built for. To blow up a planet. I'm not shocked and upset that they're regulating ammo. I mean, that's what they do.
And here we go. The irony of this. I'm gonna put this on here. The stuff they don't want you to know.
I refuse to take dictation from some girl with a mustache.
I'm gonna put the link in here. The stuff they don't want you to know. These are the facts. Net neutrality.
It's a good thing.
I'm gonna put this out there.
I don't know.
You're gonna get hooked on this channel once you watch this. So.
Oh shit, yeah. I mean, dude, last night's chat solved no problems were solved and no questions were. It was two men with their opinions and debating it, and they did well. And at the end of the day, it wasn't too bad. At the end of the day, I still don't really know what the deal is, but it's just one man trusting the government to do well, and one man trusting them to fuck shit up like they fuck up everything. You know what I mean? That's pretty much his point of view. Like, and I don't know. This green tip shit. I'm willing to take a bet. I don't know if we can bet on this stuff or if that's cool or whatever. Or, I'm willing to bet that I think we might have already won. Deep down inside, I think we might have already won because Congress is so active on it, and it seems like they picked the wrong fight this time. This isn't the SIG brace. But then part of me just feels like, you know what, they already made up their mind. This is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, why bother? I kind of, when that article came out and she did that chat with Hanga Newbie, I was like, wow, I was so pissed that I fucking wrote the email. Like, I was just pissed that I got involved. Like, it's so typical of the Empire. You know what I mean? It's typical. Like, who cares, man? Like, they don't give a shit. Did you guys write an email about the SIG brace? I mean, fuck no. They didn't even ask your opinion. They don't give a fuck. This time they asked the opinion. In the letter that I wrote, I thanked them like a total peasant, like thanking them for even listening to what us peasants have to say, at this point. And I was sincere about it.
Okay. So, should we start a pool on whether this is? Are we allowed to start a pool like everybody's in for a buck?
I don't know. I heard it was illegal to bet on the election of the president of the United States. I'm not sure if it's illegal to bet on.
It's not illegal in London.
Okay.
Well,
I'm saying, I'm willing to take $10 and say they're going to walk this back at this point. I mean,
well, Vegas needs to have. I want to like to see the Vegas odds on this. Do they have?
I would love that.
Just to see which thing is going. They bet on most everything over there in Vegas. They have on almost everything.
A lot of people's opinions are they don't even shoot this stuff, so they're not even bothered by it. And those are like pro-gun gun owners, NRA members that are like, I don't even shoot green tips, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, well, it gave all the ammo mafia a reason to go down and make videos of buying, 20 cases of it. All at once,
Yeah, I know. About me, they're not even really price gouging. I could still go get it if I wanted. I just I'm not doing it. I don't have the money right now, and even if I did, I'd rather have 193 55 grain in my closet or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, if you really want to still be able to make the stuff, you can buy, the bullets without buying the ammo. So,
Mm.
and then just load your own rounds, which is what one guy I know is going to do because he wants subsonic rounds for pig hunting with this for headshots, so he doesn't mess up the meat, by shooting through the vitals and getting biofluid all over it or whatever. With tumbling rounds. So
Yeah.
So this moon just came on. I don't know how much longer we're going to keep this chat going, but you got anything to say, Moon?
UPS sucks.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to type. If I wasn't muted there, sorry, I was typing up a storm.
Yeah, pretty much. Just read like all 4 articles today on Facebook. I didn't believe it the first time, but I was like, "This is bullshit." But
what about this report?
Yeah, but then
but then again, the way Dr. No said it, it makes complete sense. That's the whole reason they're asking for this, because it's not on this report. It can't be, based on their own definition.
Yeah. Well, that's the way they need to attack it, because the round doesn't even fall into the definition of armor piercing in the first place.
Well, until it gets into court, I don't see how that's going to stop them, though. They'll ban it, and then send the docs to fight it out.
Sure, you're not going to get instant results, but you got to keep fighting it. You can't just let them have it, or they'll keep taking.
I just saw the White House spokesperson again say, "This is for the police, and it's common sense, and how could you be for armor-piercing rounds in pistols that are easily concealable, as if an AR pistol is easily concealable?" This is the White House press secretary. This isn't another person. Like, he's there. Every day. This is his job, is to speak for the White House and for the president.
I think the only thing that's transparent about this administration is that they're constant lies, and people see right through that shit.
Now, he appointed yes men. That's the problem. Everybody, he only appoints people that agree with him on everything.
That's great, but they keep spewing these lies, and they even said themselves they lose the information war on the internet. So news.
Now, didn't I see an FBI report? Somebody said the FBI said no police officer has been killed with that round in over 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, it was like more than that. I thought it was like the president of the Police Benevolence Association was saying it's been almost like 30 years or something since something happened.
I saw 10.
Like in the 80s, something happened like this. I don't know.
I'd have to check. I'd have to fact check it, before I believed it. But I saw 10.
Well, that was the official. What my point is, that's the official White House take on it. Is that you'd have to be crazy and nuts to be against this. This is, these are easily concealable pistols, and this is for the police, and that's a great way to come at this argument. We're trying to protect police, and you're not for that. You're just scum and stupid.
Yeah, it makes no sense in the state of Hawaii because they completely banned assault pistols, AR and AK types, so you transfer one. If you owned one, I think they did that 30, 40 years ago. So, if you own one before, you can keep it, but you can't transfer it. You can't, when you die, you can't pass it on. So, for here, banning that for that reason doesn't make any sense because you can't transfer the pistols, the handguns that he's talking about.
And the guy who was in California, he left, right?
He moved to Arizona.
No, I'm saying he left the chat.
And he also left the state.
Because I heard even third gen, some third gen blocks aren't even on the roster. They're completely screwed over there.
Yeah, well, I think my dad bought a Glock before all this stuff. He still lives in California. But his favorite rifle, his favorite is his Winchester, 1892 John Wayne Centennial Winchester.
On a lighter note, did anybody see Glock's ad today? Their teaser?
Mhm.
It just said this spring, and it had a picture of a spring, a dual recoil spring. So it looked like they're gonna introduce something in the spring that uses that spring. So it was pretty vague, but
Maybe it's a laser. Maybe it's an OEM laser spring or something. I hope not.
Maybe they need somebody to incorrectly disassemble a thing, and the spring is in the air and have the spring just shoot straight up or something.
I thought maybe it was going to be the new colors, like spring flowers. But there's
Imagine it was like introducing the death of third gen. Like this is it. This is
They
double
need to have a
recoil
girl.
spring.
This is what we're talking about. We need to have like a girl running through a field of flowers, holding a Glock, or running up and picking a Glock, or something. Something that looks like
Katie
all
Povich or whatever.
natural.
We need her in her ass in there.
well, a lot of people.
Every day is a
already-
perfect hair day.
No, what we need is that
Fucked up.
Carl's Jr.
Pavlich. Her name's Pavlich.
Pavlich, man.
What's the Carl's
Katie
Jr.
Pavlich.
model? Who's
Katie
the-
Pavlich, will you be my bitch?
Yeah.
Every day is perfect hair day for her, man. Fuck that.
I'm a fan.
A lot of people are
I'm
already
a fan, son.
assuming that it's going to be the single stack 9mm. But
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I
Bullshit.
doubt it.
I call
Yeah,
bullshit.
they're fan 9mm.
doubt it.
for them.
Bullshit.
I say single stack 40.
I say Gen 5. I say it's finally the 1911, dude. It's like the Glock 1911 with a double recoil spring, dude. That'd be sick.
I will be first in line.
What are they
We need a
like?
Carl's Jr. model.
Oh, I like Carl's Jr.
Did you see the ad with that girl? Who's like all natural.
Yeah, she's the one who wrote the article, dude. That's her, Katie Pavlich.
And the girl in the Carl's Jr. ad?
Yeah, she looks like that. Have you seen her? She's hot.
But that's not the same girl.
No, but she looks like her. She's hot. No, I don't know. I wish Dr. No would get in here and calm me down, man. I need more calm. Keep calm, man. Because yeah, sometimes you get panicky, dude. You get panicky. And I always say, like, well, everyone who is panicking, all the people who are like, keep calm, this is all bullshit. Like my cousin used to always say that shit. Those are the people who didn't have 9mm for 2 years and haven't had 22 in 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, that's, there are, sometimes it's okay to panic, man. Like, you're not paranoid if it's really happening to you, dude. You know what I mean? If it's really happening, it's happening.
Well, I guess we'll find out around the 16th.
We
That's
talked
what
about it
we did,
last night in the chat. Either way, there's still, the panic buying is happening now anyway.
And they're
So-
buying everything, like 7.62 by 39. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's just like everybody's all of a sudden it's like they're buying 760. They're buying everything. They don't want to. It's like here comes the ban and here comes the panic again. It's like
Yankee Marshall's not the only person who said like 7.62 by 39 is like the worst round to be invested in because they can stop the importation of that without hearing our comments. You know what I mean? They really don't need our comments for that. I mean, he could do that tomorrow.
That's why I just keep buying it. I just keep buying it until it's gone.
It's cheap. Yeah, I'm saying it's cheap enough to buy a few rounds every week. I mean,
I have
fuck.
so much that I won't even be able to shoot it. So.
Well, I have over 2,000 rounds of AK ammo, and I don't know if I'll even get through that. So.
Enough to pass down to my grandchildren.
I have 60 rounds of 7.62 right there. 60.
60?
I got
That's it?
60 rounds. Yeah, 60.
I have
3
over,
boxes, man. They're $5 a box. Man. It's
I have over
crazy.
2,000 rounds of that stuff.
Well, I don't want to be considered, extravagant.
That's not extravagant.
Trying to stay humble, dude.
I just bought 2
I
cases.
got
That's
two
about it.
boxes.
You buy ammo by the case. Boxes are for wimps.
By the case. No, I go to Walmart and I'm like, when they're $5 each, I just buy a few boxes every week or whatever. I think I'm up to like.
Dude, that's me, man. I go to Walmart and they give me 4 boxes of 223.
Yeah.
Go home with 80 rounds. But you do that every other week, and I don't go shooting all winter. You end up with 800 rounds at the end of the winter. Now you have ammo for 5 range trips.
Even the lady at Walmart's like, did you hear about the United Nations regulations? I mean,
Dude, the NRA was calling me at the beginning of this chat. Fuckers, they would have mentioned the UN. I would have exploded on them. I didn't answer it. So then I typed the phone number in, and it came up NRA. Fuckers.
yes, the United Nations leader, Boutros Ghali, is after my 9mm.
Ralph's saying it's going to be a single stack 45 gap, which I saw too.
Oh, damn, yo,
I
that's
did
awesome.
see.
Gap is awesome.
But I don't want. Who wants that?
Who wants Gap?
Right.
I want Gap.
Well, I want gap, but not 45 gap.
From Katie.
Shannon
yeah, I don't know
wants
about
gap.
that. I doubt it's Gap, man. The Gap is on its way out. That's like I've never seen Gap at Walmart. Like even like Full Metal Jacket. I only see Gap defensive rounds. And you definitely can't get that Liberty RIP Halo shit for that, you know? Can't get that. Liberty Ammo Defense Halo RIP G2.
That would just anger people. 45 gap single stack.
Yeah, I don't know about that, dude. So done with that shit. All my guns now are Bowie Tactical custom MMPs with red dots. Fuckers.
I'm just buying HK P30s from now on.
Yeah, that's right. You're getting dude. You like the decocker on the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I used to like that shit. I had a P2000, the SK, the little tiny one, and that had the decocker on the back. And I used to actually carry that a long time ago.
Does your 45 have the decocker on the back?
No, the HK45 has a thumb safety like decocker, like a USP, but it's more extended. The decocker in the back is really kind of cool because there's no way to actually do it by accident. You know, it's impossible. Bloop, 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 bloop. But yeah, I mean, dude, even when I had the VP9 for a real quick second, when I leased my last HK VP9, magazines were fairly cheap and kind of easy to find. Like, you know, like I was paying like $39. I think the highest I paid was like 40 something. You know, and now I see that, man, there's like a real shortage, and it happens all the time with HK stuff. Like it'll just go, like AK shit or something. Like,
yeah.
They come and go. They're all made in Germany. Mekar ain't making them for them. You know what I'm saying? Checkmate ain't making them for them. Everything's coming from Obendorf. So.
Yep, I looked everywhere for them. I looked for used ones, new ones. Seems that all the VP9 people are just snatching them up.
Check Man Venture.
I'm just going to buy more. I'm just going to buy a bunch of them, HKs, take the magazines, and then sell the gun without a magazine. Like $50 off, no magazines.
CDNN used to be the shit. Like CDNN used to be the HK spot to get mag. And then you can try Man Venture and the some other place too. There's HK Specialist and HKParts.net and there's a whole bunch of it.
Yeah, I got on some email lists. HKParts.net and Man Venture.
Man Venture Outpost. Other than that, I mean, the quality's there. You know it. I mean, it's a quality gun, and the mags are good when you can get them.
Have you guys seen my green tip margarita?
Nah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I have a video on how to make it.
Okay, I went over to the video.
Serving them.
I went over and commented. I busted Katie.
You busted?
I wrote my opinion in there.
Practically Tactical channel.
Said, I
Practically, tactically.
I think you're wrong on this one, honey.
I don't think she's wrong. I mean,
Yeah,
she's
wrong.
trying
She
to help.
wrote it she is, but just the way Dr. No says it makes perfect sense. She says, well, what does this mean for someone selling it? It means it's perfectly legal because it's not on the banned list. It makes perfect sense to me. That's why they're come out with this proposal, because they want to add it. Because they said, oh, it's no longer exempt, because there is no longer an exemption, period. It's okay to sell it. It doesn't meet the criteria for armor-piercing ammo.
So not only is the exemption gone, all exemptions do no longer exist, but it's basically the same problem in the
which makes it legal.
It wasn't illegal because there was an exemption before they wrote this. And
exactly.
Now,
it was written in there. Now it's actually they need a way to write it in without it being classified by their own definition as an armor-piercing round. That's why they need this permission.
well,
That's the way I see it.
They need to give themselves permission.
Well, this is the legal way, like I was saying. They can't just change it. They need to make it public, and that's the way it's done. And so they couldn't just throw it on the list because it will, you know what I mean? It was actually part of an exemption before. Now they named the specific ammo that's on the list, and they didn't name 855 or SS-109. So they want to be able to name it. And if there wasn't enough opposition, it would sneak in there because they went, oh, we made this public, and there was only 1,800 people that said something. So there you go. But now, like I said, there's so many millions of people, I think, and people involved with this in Congress that I don't think it has a chance.
You don't think they're going to get this through, right?
I think it's 75% don't have a chance.
Yeah, I would say that too. I think it's they did everything they could do to fuck themselves up on this one.
Right.
They didn't need our comments, dude, either. Like, I don't think that was a necessary thing for them.
Well, what was really funny is that on, they did it on a Friday, on a 3-day weekend. It was a President's Day or something. And when the girl comes back, on Tuesday, it was like she must have known what Monica Lewinsky felt like because, I mean, it exploded in her face. I mean, there was like their email account was like full. They could only have I don't know, it had to be over like, it had to be over like 10,000 emails, over that weekend, and like the fax machine must have been completely empty of paper, and there was, when they came back, and then it just had to be like, I don't know how much paper they had. I think the reason the fax was down for a few days because they have to get some different type of fax machine that can handle that much input or something. It wouldn't surprise me, because it was down for like 3 to 4 days before they got the fax machine came back on.
I'm sure it cost $100,000 too. It's like they have those like $10,000 hammers and stuff. Oh boy, what can we do?
Make a green tip margarita, dude. That's what I'm going to do as soon as the chat is over.
Now I'm reading there's a bipartisan background check bill introduced in the House. So contact your congressman about that.
Good luck. But, I saw something on the whole Gabby Giffords thing that somebody posted on gun channels that, somebody points out that the guy who shot her passed a background check for his gun. So how does that help her?
Right. Well,
I thought that was not necessarily true or something. I don't know. Who knows? That kid was a fucking asshole, and it should have been, he was threatening people in school and stuff, and just being a dick. So I guess nothing ever really official happened to him to make him a criminal. Just complaints beforehand.
Just complaints don't show up on a background check. So, again.
That's the problem. That's why we need background check neutrality.
Check neutrality. Well, anybody can make a complaint against anybody, so complaint neutrality.
Yeah. This is all bull. This is all crap, man.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens, I mean, especially since we have a pony in this game. We got a dog in the fight, and everybody worked up a lather on YouTube about it. So, you know, at this point, if anybody says anything, everybody's going to come on YouTube and start ranting. Did you guys see the Iraq Vet 888 with the FPS Russia walk-in? I think that was all green screen in front of the Alamo.
No.
Oh, that was pretty good. Well, yeah, basically Iraq 888 came on and Jaeger came on, and they started getting a lot more signatures after their videos on the presidential whitehouse.gov, but then that's when the whole whitehouse.gov crashed for the weekend. So, I don't know where we're at. Where are we at now on the presidential whitehouse.gov petition? Just for the record, I know some people hate that, but, you know, whatever.
If it's above 83 at this point, I think it'll hit it. But if it's stalled at 81 today still...
Well, people said it was stalled when it hit 61, so...
Yeah, it broke that weekend.
That was like...
It broke. Everything was frozen over the weekend.
We'll see. They got 10 days to make 20,000 more signatures. That's done.
I'm checking right now to see where it's at.
That can go down in the record books in our favor, I guess, in court.
Yeah, we're only at 80,619. So 19,381 signatures to go.
There's still people that don't even know about it. I mean, every time I see a post on Facebook, there's people like, what's happening?
I know.
Why are they doing this?
It's like, what? And then my friend yesterday, hey, aren't they banning all AR ammo? I'm like, dude, what the hell are you? Would you pretend to be a gun person, please? Yeah, and you are a gun person.
Well, that just goes to show you how the lowest common denominator works. You can completely explain everything to everybody.
But he's not like us,
only two words they're going to hear out of this entire 2.5-hour chat is going to be ammo ban. You know, and then they're going to run out to the store and buy everything.
But you know, I mean, this friend of mine, he would never watch it. I mean, this just isn't him. You know what I mean? His life's totally different. You know, and I'm not saying he's got shit going on. He's actually in a wheelchair, totally just disabled. But he likes his, you know, he likes going out on the boat and hanging out, and he likes guns. But he's not. By no way is he passionate or an advocate. You know, I can sit there, and I do sometimes. I'll force him. I go, dude, give me your computer. I'm gonna have you. You're gonna click OK here. Just give me your email. You know.
Well, I just want to say I still think the United States is the best country on the planet, and we've got all our problems and like huge stack of them. But at least we get a list what they are and do something about it. You know, and you know we don't have to, you know, riot or shoot anybody. We don't have to have a gun to have a say, and you know, remote. Whatever you think. So it's you got a lot of rights.
I kind of feel like the United States is like a girl I've been dating for 10 years. I was in love with her at first. Now I just love her. But we fight all the time. And she's costing me a fortune.
Well, I won't get into those kind of comparisons. I have a checkered past with girls.
Hey, we all got baggage, man. Yeah.
To say, if I move anywhere from Hawaii, it'll be to Las Vegas. You know, and I'll like sit over on California on the way over. From the plane. All right, so are we getting ready to, does everybody have their say, or is there anything else we got to go over on this hour? Or do we have to keep going for...
No, you could go. You can make, anybody can start their own chat up. I think we could put a period on this one, an exclamation point, and call it good.
All right, so I just want to, so let's close out with first, if you're not on Gun Channels or you never heard of gunchannels.com, go to gunchannels.com and check it out. They're still working on the new website format.
Completely free now, completely free.
Yeah, and you can check it out, and there's a lot of information on there. you know, and after they get everything all squared away with the new format and work out all the bugs, it's going to be even better. And so.
And we're trying to make it a website, so it's a good website. It's not just a chat site. It's not a place to go just so we can hang out and then get in a hangout. It's designed to now be focused more on gun topics and what have you. And it's just like you said, it's in a transition right now to its new format, and it'll become even easier in the next week or two.
Yeah, and it's free, and there's a lot of good big YouTube channels on there, and you can hear them.
Yeah.
You know, they're ranting. They have different kinds of videos, you know, and live chats, people ranting at each other, and then some people talking technical stuff, you know, and there's, you know, reloading. There's, you know, I don't know if they haven't posted any Glock versus, or no, 1911 or AK versus AR yet. I don't think, but there's always somebody arguing about something. The sky's the limit. Anything goes.
Exactly.
And so I'm probably going to end this chat really soon now because that green tip margarita is starting to look really good. And if you want one, I got a video on how to make one. And so,
as long as that's not guacamole. Is that guacamole?
No. That's ice and fresh basil and lime peel.
Oh, nice,
and,
dude.
You have to make the green tip part separate from the regular part. So it's like ice, lime peel, basil, and cilantro. You know, in there. And
very impressive.
Oh yeah, and it was awesome too. And you won't believe how that smells. It smells so damn good when you make just the green part. You know, it makes you want to go out and buy some green tips. But I mean, it's like really this freshness explosion. You use all those freshness. I mean, it's serious, you know. And then you turn off that shit. All right, but anyway, so this has been Hawaii Volcano Squad with a lobby chat for gun websites. And everybody, thanks for watching. And we'll be back with another Green Tip Zone video before the 16th. Complaining about shit that we don't know what we're actually talking about yet, but we'll get it right in the end. All right, thanks, guys. Aloha.
Night, everybody.